Hello, hello, hey Pressel. Happy first. I showed twice who's the boss. You did. Really stuck it to twice. How you doing today? I was hopefully going to finish reworking the save system for challenge mode, which will bring us one step closer to being able to playtest all of the new changes. Pog champ. That is the plan. Okay, so I did some work yesterday. I got through some of this. So here's the goal for today is to finish all of what's highlighted. So from here to here, it's about a page and a half, 2 pages maybe. And I'm hoping it's not actually that hard, but who knows? Who knows what it's going to work out to be. Doing pretty good. Kind of bored trying to figure out what productive thing I could do. What have you already done and what do you need to do? Because I got to say, there's a lot of stuff I've kind of needed to do, but that isn't super important. Like the most recent one is we have to change the, it sounds really dumb. We have to change the toothbrush heads on our electric toothbrushes. And it doesn't take very long. I just haven't done it yet. And it's not super important if we wait another like 2 weeks or something. Anyway, need to clean up to-do items and then keep chugging through this list. Yeah, so I think I've got a few of these, 2 of them at least. Okay, and what, they're for save and load? Is that right? Yes. Wow, the 2 parts of a save and load system, saving and loading, and I have a to-do item for both of them. Well, it's mostly just refactor this stuff so that it doesn't look like garbage. Also, game save should probably be in this one too. Okay, well, let's think about this. What's going on? So we make challenge mode data. We make save story mode data. We get the path, we get the string, then we serialize. We write all the text. And then if it was auto-saved, get the ID, pass in the file path. And then what's the backup path? Where is that? Oh, it was right there. Yeah. Get save backup file. Okay, how does this work? Does this know how to do challenge mode stuff? Yes. Okay, so if we made these things inherit from the same structure, they could share town save data. Alternatively, challenge mode save data could have a story mode save data. It's not story mode though, and I don't want that to be confusing. I guess we could just have a get ID. There could be an interface here. Okay, I think I like that. Hey, Frumius, how you doing? If I'm not mistaken, I have not seen you in forever, right? Yes, it's been 5 months. Yeah. Yeah, how's it going? I went to a store to try to get a new phone case with a warranty, which was my toothbrush case of the day. But other than that, I need to cook. I'll probably do that in around an hour. All right, nice. Yeah, I hope I can keep you company for that time. Yeah, I think we'll make an interface for this. So like save file with ID. I has save ID, something like that. I mod for Jackie Coach. Well, I'm not trying to say you should show up more often. I was just merely commenting on that I haven't seen you in a while. Totally fine if you don't show up here every, even every year or something like that. That's, yeah. Also, I'm kind of surprised that moderating, again, not indicating anything here, just surprised that moderating keeps you busy in a coding stream. I feel like there's very little moderating to do over in this stream. Sure, they didn't even get a new case, which sucks. And it only sucks because before in a similar situation with an old phone of mine, we gotten warranty pieces twice. And I'm just ordering new ones now, though. But when you say case, you're talking about what you attach afterward to your phone? Because they're generally not super expensive, right? Or are you talking about like the shell of the phone that when you buy a phone, it's like you wouldn't be able to hold the phone if it didn't have a case on it? Watch me make Botland? Yeah. Save ID. So this is just going to be get ID or something like that. Public. What is it? What is the ID? It's a GUID. Oh, wow, look at that. GUID ID. Get. Can I do this? Accessibility modifiers unnecessary. Oh, nice. Cool. Hey, Alex. Exactly, the after one, yeah. It's only, wow, 60 euros. Jeez, that's more expensive than I thought. Yeah. I thought we were talking about something that was like, $10 or something. And I'm like, well, it's nice if you get it for free, but it's not gonna totally ruin your month if you don't get it for free. But yeah, 60 euros. So implements this. Wait, that's not how you do implements. All right, there we go. And then town save data, same. They're not town save data. Story mode save data, same thing. Cool. So now we get the ID. This is going to be public GUID ID. Oh, oh no, we can't do things this way, can we? Because we might not have that. Okay, I'm glad we did this. We might not have town save data, and if we don't, wait. Do we need an ID? Okay, maybe I'm doing this poorly. Yeah, for $10, I wouldn't even bother going to the store. Yeah. Man. All right, I gotta think about this. So what is the ID even good for? What is the ID even good for? It's so that we know where to back up. I think that's the only place we use this. Let's see. Is this the only place we use this? Yeah, that's it. It's just for getting a backup file. So why did I do this? Oh, because you can start a new game at any time. A new story mode game. Oops, I was supposed to go here. But that's not true with challenge mode. There's persistence. So we don't really need the ID. Hmm. Maybe what we do then is we get. Yeah, help us here. I love dropping in and you're asking yourself, why did I do this again? Well, it is important to know because like having an identifier is not a red flag for practically any application, but you need to know what you're using the identifier for. And in this particular case, it was for a scenario that does make sense. So in Skeleseller, you can click new game and then save game. And when you do this, well, I guess when you auto save the game, it'll auto save under a different place in case you didn't mean to click new game. So it doesn't overwrite your old save file. I wonder if we should even keep this functionality. Maybe, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we need to rethink what new game and load game are even doing. Maybe you shouldn't be able to make a new game if you have a saved game. You should delete the saved game first or use a new save slot. Yeah, this is kind of what this is making me think now. And that way there's no reason to back up. Then you could just have, then auto saving could copy to a save backup.json. We can restore from that. I think this makes more sense. I don't know if this is going to be confusing to players though. So you start the game for the first time. You see new game, load game, and quit. Quit's always going to be there. That's obvious. Load game is disabled at first because you don't have a saved game. So you click new game and play for an hour. Now, next time you load the game, next time you start it up, you only see continue game, I guess. Maybe you just don't even see load game, continue game, or quit. Hey, Sean. I'm doing pretty well. If you do end up going with save slots, my preference would be limited amount. I like being focused on one save. So to me, and maybe I'm not understanding something correctly, but to me, how many save slots you're allowed is unrelated to how many you're expected to use, or like vaguely related. So I think in like Final Fantasy VII, you probably had, I don't know, 10 save slots. I doubt anyone in the world ever really used more than 3 of them. Not sorry, anyone in the world. Probably most people is what I mean. Probably didn't use more than 3 of them. You know, you've got a sibling, you've got maybe a second run you do through the game. Yeah, sure, speedrunners or something, they might be using all 10. But if you just want to use one, you just use one anyway. So what I'm expecting probably for like 90% of Skeleseller players, you'd use a single save file. And then maybe that last 10% is like people sharing their computer / device, people who want to start over without deleting their progress, and probably some other cases here. Hey, Meridio, just bought a corn. Nice. Did I cut my hair? Yeah. Or rather, I got a haircut. I don't know if you're implying did I do it myself, but I did not do it myself. So yeah, I think this would probably work. And then you would just need a way to change save slots. How did I not notice? You're slipping. You were so focused on first. You missed the he got a new haircut button. I never asked, what'd you do while working at Google? I've got this command that talks about it. Hang on one second. Okay. Hey, Corpsey. I have leftover pasta from last night. I'm going to heat up in the microwave. Just thought I'd come here and let you know. Thank you. Oh my God, I was so worried. I thought, is Corpsey getting pasta? But now I know, so I can rest easy tonight. I hope you enjoy your pasta. I was thinking yesterday about this thing while watching. You're prescient. All right, so yeah, you just need a way to change save slots. And we don't have that way yet, but I guess we need a way to do it. Well, do we for the demo? Maybe we don't. Hang on a second. Oh, man. Let me think about this. It can't just be continue game, because continue game implies that you're only continuing normal mode. So, well, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Man, this is difficult. Maybe it should just say story mode, challenge mode, and quit. This doesn't show until you've unlocked challenge mode. This will either make a new game or make a new game if you don't have save data, or it will load the existing game. Maybe it gives you the option when you click it. And then this would open a dialog that has start run and continue run. All right. Gives the option to start a new save slot. Overwrite your save data. Man, I don't know. This shouldn't be that hard. This isn't even code stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how this thing should work. Like, man. I think this is pretty close to what I want. And that way load game isn't overloaded. It would have to have loaded a story mode game or a challenge mode game. And this makes it so that it's clear what you want to play when you choose the button. And it probably shouldn't be called story mode until you get challenge mode itself. Maybe it should just be play. And then once you get challenge mode, story mode should just say play until you unlock challenge mode. Then it should change to say story mode. Oh man. Yeah, all right, let's write this stuff down. Hey, Matt. Change the buttons on the title screen. So only show play and quit at first. Clicking play will make a new game if you don't have save data. If you do have save data, it will open a dialog asking if you want to start a new game or continue the existing one from date. And then once you unlock challenge mode, colors on that shirt are very pleasing. Thanks. Once you unlock challenge mode, change play to story mode and show the challenge mode button. And then clicking challenge mode should show a start, like a new run versus continue run. Assuming you have an existing run, an ongoing run. And then we get rid of a save files ID, or maybe not. I don't know. We could just keep it there. It's just a random GUID every time you make a town. Stop backing up using the save files ID. Just use the word backup. Things look okay? Okay, good, 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 good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. All right, let's just mock this up really quickly and see if this makes sense. And here's the fastest possible mock-up we can do is just with text. So imagine there's a play button and there's a quit button. So this is the first time running the game. This is what you see on the title screen. And then, so like you click play, of course, and make a new save file and play for an hour. Now, next time you go to the title screen, I guess it's still play or quit. But now clicking play will ask if you want to continue your old file or start a new one. And then, so you continue your old one and then beat story mode. Next time you go to the title screen, it now says story mode, challenge mode, and quit. Clicking this would show continue or make new, just as it always did. And then clicking this would show continue or make new. Yeah, I think this is how I should do it. Okay, I think I'm convinced. I think I'm convinced. So we don't need this has save ID thing. We don't need this. I'll copy it somewhere just in case, but I just can't see needing this. Some memes will never die. All right, so now we don't use the ID, right? What do we call this? We don't even take in a GUID. We just use the word backup. Yeah, there, done. So now this goes away. I think back up the old save file just in case something goes wrong. That part's still fine. Okay, so now the other thing we need to do is inside town save data. This remains constant for a given playthrough. It's used to identify save files from that specific town. Yeah. I'll say it was originally for the sake of the autosave system so that we could have backups that don't just get, that wouldn't just get overwritten when you start a new game. But save slots should address that problem eventually. So now it's just an ID in case we need it. Welcome aboard. Indoctrinated. We just need Kevin to be here, and we got a full-on cult. Okay, so we're now no longer using the ID. So this is done. We need to change the buttons on the title screen. So all I've done so far is what? Change a comment and get rid of the ID from here. Change 2 comments. Oh, that's a lot of work for one day. Yeah, nice. Okay, great. So now we go to the title screen and we go change how this looks and how this works. Oh boy. So new game should just be changed to be play. And there won't be a load game button. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Time to run out for a pre-lunch walk through the park. Happy productivity Tuesday. Enjoy your walk. That sounds like it's nice. I wonder what the weather is here and if I will feel up to going on a walk during my lunchtime. High is 71 today, which in Celsius is 972. Ah, nice. It's 22 degrees Celsius. That's not what it is right now, by the way. That's just what the high will be. But yeah, I really like it when the weather is in like the 50 to 60 range. I think that's pretty nice. 972, interesting. Yeah, it's a cool 972 degrees Celsius. So new game button, I guess we're going to change this to be story mode button, and it's just going to say play. I don't know why this feels like it's going to be a bigger change than it really is. Where's the new game button? New challenge button. Wait, are you kidding me? Where's like new where is this thing? Why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. New game button. Okay, yeah. I somehow missed that. All right, so we're going to need to save this off because we got to do some different things here. Oh, this will be fun. All right, so private button, story mode button equals null. In ready, we're going to fetch this thing. Story mode button. Please don't know my actions start creating too big of armies. We'll keep this stream as a dictatorship for now. Can you imagine if that's how this actually worked? Like, hey, just in case you're worried about me overthrowing the government, just let me know and I'll stop. Okay. No, I want you to rise up and take over the stream. I feel like everyone should have that power. This becomes your stream. And then I rise up against you and we swap off every couple of years. And we have a truce at some point. Maybe in this scale it could be more possible. Maybe. Maybe that's how we get world peace. We just have a bunch of governments of size 12, not millions. All right, so it's gonna be called story mode button, I guess. And we're just gonna change this to story mode. But the text of that's gonna be dynamic. So let's start with the text thing. Let's also localize this while we're at it. We might as well. Kevin would be pleased. Okay, put that there. Delete this. This is going to be story mode name before unlocking challenge mode. Yeah. New. Or story mode button text. And then after unlocking challenge mode is going to say story mode. Okay, now we go use this information. So this is whenever you get to the title screen, we're going to know, we're already going to have the challenge mode save data, right? Something needs to tell us if it's there. Here it is. Oh, wait, no, that's not good. That's not good at all. Wait, no, maybe that is good. Oh God, how do I do this? Okay, this needs to... hang on a second. I forgot about this. We don't expose challenge mode in the demo. We only expose it in the playtest version. So I guess what we could do is if we're in this, then we run all this, like change the button stuff. Otherwise we just hide this entirely. So story mode button. Also, isn't this thing gonna break? Yeah, this is gonna break. Story mode button dot text equals. We need to know if you've unlocked challenge mode. How do we know if you've unlocked challenge mode? Oh my God, this is such a mistake. Okay, well, we put this here then. This is not where this goes. Hang on. I can do this. So we put this here. You need to be, and you need to not be on the demo. And then if this thing is visible, then we're going to set the text of stuff. Okay, this will make it a lot clearer. No, wait, no. Oh my God. This is so tough. We do it like this. Get after unlocking. Otherwise, get before unlocking. And then we don't do this. Yeehaw. Okay. So I think we've done step one. Honestly, I think this is going pretty well. I know it looks like I'm making no progress, but I think this is promising. That part wasn't promising. That just crashed Godot. That hopefully wasn't me. What happened here? Uh-oh, it was us. It's the max size container. Updating margins infinitely. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. And I can't even see the whole stack trace of this because it's infinite. So I wonder what's going wrong here. So this is what's been responsible for crashing Godot. Set custom maximum size. Custom maximum size. Here, update margins. And then it calls set margin, which through some means is going to call update margins again. I wonder how. Add theme constant override. Oh, on container resized. Something must set this to false then. Is this even called? It's not called from anywhere. Uh-oh. We have... Wait, right? This has to be a problem, I'm pretty sure. Oh, man. Well, the title screen of the right thing? Yeah, it has new now. It just says new. It should probably say new game. Or play. Sorry, play was what I wanted to say, not new. Alright, is it loading this? Maybe. Max size container. This doesn't have any references to this function. So I guess we delete this. Yeah, I guess we delete this. But this idea probably needs to stick around somewhere. Resize is just update margins now. I think this is wrong. Can you turn off Mac mouse acceleration without third-party software? I did some terminal command and I don't think it worked. I don't know. I guess I have it on. I'm not sure. Yeah, I probably have it on. I'm not even sure how to tell. These are the kinds of things I actually do think are pretty good to ask AI for, because it probably has all of the forums posts where people have done this. Very mixed information. Yeah, I would ask AI and say, like, how do I change it? And then you could, well, I mean, you could test it out, I guess. But also it might just say you can't do it. All right, so here's what I think the problem is. I think we're calling update margins, and what we should be doing is calling on container resized. Yeah. The terminal command I followed was by AI. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know how to help then. Sorry. All right. I hope this fixes a bug. I wonder why that line of code even changed. In fact, let's go take a look at that really fast. Max size container. Where is it? Here. Line 87. It was in the implementation of it. So then when did this thing come about? Also, in that same time. Okay, I think this was just a bug back then. This prevents infinite loops. I'm pretty sure. When people ask stuff that they could just Google. I think it's okay for obscure things like this. Plus, I do keep a lot of notes, so I think it's pretty reasonable to ask. I don't think I have anything on this, though. I'm also not sure if I even make those public. I apparently don't. Or maybe I called it Mac. No, I think it's only in my private notes, all the Mac stuff that I did. And then I also have this, which does change some settings, but probably not the stuff. Where does it even do this? I thought it'd be in preferences. Shell? No. What? Install? I don't know. I have some script somewhere that runs all these things. I don't know where it is. Is it this? Install settings. It's in shell. Okay, I didn't realize. Shell install. And then settings. I think this is all the OS stuff that I do. Yeah. You probably had some default write command told to you by the AI. I don't think I do anything with... I don't do anything with mouse acceleration. But I would expect it to be one of these things if it were possible. Could have Googled that at the same time you wrote the message. Yeah. For what it's worth, I suspect that's going to largely come to an end. And I think there's some part of this that's a little bit sad. So back in the day, there was what? Let me Google that for you, which was kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, you shouldn't have wasted my time on this. But the reason I think this is going to come to an end at some point in the next, like, probably 5 years is because I think AI use will be widespread enough then where most people will probably just, like, have a natural way of asking, hey, how do I fix this thing? And the reason I think it's kind of sad is because think of the cases where you sort of need to interact with a human right now. If this were 50 years ago and you didn't have some knowledge, you'd probably talk to somebody. You probably wouldn't just immediately go to a library and start looking things up. You'd just talk to a person. And now if you need to get knowledge, it's unlikely that you can't get it yourself. And yeah, I wonder if like forums or maybe some Discord servers will actually have fewer and fewer messages. Like there will still be things to talk about. You don't have to have a need to get knowledge just to talk to somebody. You could also just be connecting or talking about a hobby or something. Hey, Seshamara. Yeah, it's not limited to just knowledge. Yeah. Well, okay. I guess what you might be saying is an AI can talk to you about your interests too. That I think no human will probably say something like, "Stop trying to talk to me about my hobby." You can talk to an AI. I hope that doesn't happen. But if you're asking something like, "Hey, what's 2 plus 2" or whatever, it's like, yeah, a lot of people are gonna say, "Why are you asking me that? Just go look it up." In this particular case, no one ever asks what's 2 plus 2, but you get the idea, right? How do you sort an array in Python or something? The temperature when it's on your lock screen. My wife has a ritual for some reason. Practically every day, it's kind of the same two questions. It's what's the weather and what does that mean? So I'll say something like, "Oh, it's a high of 65 or something today." And then she's like, "Okay, what does that mean I should wear?" And it's very funny to me because at some point I'm like, "Shouldn't you have a gauge for what this is at this point?" And I guess my own gauge was broken when it came to running in the rain or like running outside. Because what you wear when you're running is very different from what you wear when you're just walking outside. So, yeah, the point at which I'd wear gloves would probably be in like the 40s, but the point at which I'd wear a jacket would be maybe also like the 40s instead of the 50s. If I go outside with a friend of mine, I always ask hoodie, t-shirt, jacket. Well, the thing is, where we live, which is like the Seattle area, everyone pretty much dresses in layers unless it's the summer because you know that it could change at any moment. So it's like if it's too cold, put on another layer. If it's too hot, take off a layer. You wouldn't dress in such a way that you'd just be caught somewhere and you're like, well, now I'm too hot and I'm uncomfortable. Hopefully we fix this. I think I should probably launch this from here. Whoops. And now we can go try this out. Again, if I got nothing else done today other than saving and loading, I'd be happy, but I do want to get to completion of this. And maybe we could get done a little bit before the end of the day, although I don't know how we'd use the rest of the time. Okay, so play is here. Maybe I should say play game. Play game. Start new game. I don't know what I should say. Play game sounds pretty good. And I guess we've been capitalizing these buttons. Is the load game button capital? Yeah. All right, so play game looks pretty good. And then it'll change the story mode afterward. Now, this is broken, and I'm not sure why. This bit about has unlocked challenge mode, I guess is not true. Did I make it not true? I might have manually modified this file to set it to false. Yes, I think I did. Okay, so let's just set it to true. And then, unfortunately, we need to restart. Went to the gym earlier, needed a hoodie and joggers. But then when we went outside after a few hours to go to the store, it was way too hot for wearing layers. Wait, what? But you had a layer on. What I'm trying to say is, if you have a hoodie and you have like a shirt on underneath it, then you can take the hoodie off and there's your layer and now you're comfortable. But if for whatever reason you're a madman and you're wearing a hoodie with nothing underneath it, then you can't take that off. I love that run the current scene feature. I think it's pretty nice, yeah. I very rarely need it. Okay, so we go back to the main screen, and yeah, now we see story mode and challenge mode. And so when I click this, it's going to start a new game. We need to change that functionality now. So this is done. Oh, no. We need to hide load game. Load game shouldn't exist. Yeah, load game button goes away. Load game button. Press is on load button pressed, and it's disabled if you don't have a save file. Okay, so we need this functionality. I gotta remember that. Let's close out of these things. Let's go back to the title screen and let's delete all of this stuff. So we're one step closer to getting this done. This isn't even the hard part. Did anyone try to brainstorm game design with an AI? I would guess that people have. Oh, darn it. That's not good. That's really not good. That means that this thing crashed again. Where did... Yeah, and it crashed in the same way. Oh, God. Set custom maximum size. What is doing this, though? That's the part I don't understand. We call update margins, which calls update margins with 4 arguments. Calls this. Which then calls set margin. Which then modifies one of these things, which presumably changes the size. Which I'm guessing would go to this. Which if it's resizing would just return. I don't know what's wrong. Yeah, it is coming from that. Now there's this and then this and then this. Unfortunately, this is not super obvious what we're doing here. But given that we call update margins again, it's just got to be that we're getting stuck in an infinite loop here. Reset, call update. I don't know how it's possible, though, because of this. Unless something else changes? No. Huh. This is not good. I guess maybe because reset calls set margin, which is going to change the size. Oh, is that what's happening? No. Well, it is what's happening, yeah. So shouldn't we do this every single time we need to update the margins? Just call on container resized? I'm going to try this, but I think this might be a mistake. Process is editor hint. Okay, now there's one last thing we have to do, which is reset margins. I think this should be fine now. Okay, let's try this. Whoops. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah. And this on container resize should be like update margins avoiding infinite loop. Updating the margins can change the size of the container, which could trigger an update of the margins again. Want to avoid an infinite loop. Hey Coldfire, just started a new Skeleseller game, trying to reach 1,000 gold as soon as possible. That was fun. How did you do it? Like, what did you prioritize? And I wonder, I'm really interested in hearing if you're gonna like challenge mode, which in the next week we should be able to find out. I'm hoping. Okay, so I've got this thing running. Hopefully we don't notice any weird problems going on here either. Let's rerun this. Canhorn, happy 2 years. Welcome back. Yeah. I haven't seen you in a long time. What's up? Thank you for the sub. Okay, so we have story mode, challenge mode, and quick game. When you click story mode, it's going to start a new game. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, now we need to figure this out. So this is if you have a save file, and this should probably say like has story mode save file. Yeah, has, and this is the only place this is ever called? Surprisingly, no. What is this? In-game menu? Oh, okay. Game Saver has save files. Gonna have to change. I'll write that down. It checks for story mode, but we'll need to check for challenge mode. We need to check for the mode we're in. Hey, again, barcode. We meet again. That we do. Okay, so if you have a save file, then we need to pop up a dialog asking you what you want to do. To do show dialog asking if you want to save or continue. Or sorry, save or continue. Make a new game or continue the old one. And then on load button press. This would be like load the game, which is not on load button press anymore. Load game. Call load game if continuing. Okay. Either way, we're going to do this. And now we need to show you a dialogue. So how do we show you a dialogue? There should be some like new version mismatch thing. Dialogue is a dialogue. Here it is. Nice. Nice. Okay, so here's a bunch of dialogue data. We want this to be different. It'd be fun if you save those notes discussing AI. We'd go back in 10 years and see how right and wrong we were. Yeah. I think it will continue to change life a lot more for people. And the other thing too, I think there are a lot of little things that AI could help with that no one's ever going to code on their own. So as an example, imagine you're on a call with someone. Maybe it's a Discord call, maybe it's a literal phone call. So like you probably want noise suppression by default, right? Because you have a lot of breathing sounds, coughing, background noise. But now let's say you start playing violin. Maybe it could detect that it shouldn't be suppressing this. And that's something that AI could probably like do. Maybe you talked about violin, like, hey, let me show you something. And it's now primed for like, oh, I'll turn off noise suppression for you temporarily. It's like a human isn't going to code this feature. This isn't worth doing, but it's slightly more usable in a tiny edge case. I mean, maybe we won't even let AI do that just because it's more to maintain at that point. But yeah, who knows? That's the kind of thing where maybe all your software can just get smarter and know what you're trying to do and help you do it. 3 adventurers fighting in their own forest. Slime appetite level 2. Shop upgrade twice. Farm clear rock 1. Took me 37 minutes. Okay, yeah. So that's the time to beat now. And when you say reach 1,000 gold, you mean have 1,000 gold, or like cumulatively have earned 1,000 gold? Because it's going to be hard for you to track the cumulative amount. But either way, yeah, challenge mode should be up your alley. All right, so this is all inside dialogue data. I'm not totally sure why we did things this way and make this here. But I'll need to make one of these somewhere else. Have it in the bank, yeah. I see. Well, I'm glad you had fun doing that. I'm just looking for anything here that kind of makes sense for us. Okay, there is quite a lot. Intro shop. Show dismiss option. I want something with buttons here. I just need literally anything. If we search for treasure, I should find something, right? Buy treasure chest, maybe later. Not that. There was something where, I guess it was the treasure spirit. Aha. Greeting. Hi, I'll tell you how your treasure room works. So we need 3 options here. We need new, whatever, go back. So there's auto purchasing, I think. How does this work? Toggle. Maybe later. What? Do I not understand how this works? I don't. When you talk to this, it says go on and dismiss. When you get auto purchasing, yeah, it says change auto purchasing. Where's that? Ah, options.add. Okay, so here's what I want. How to recognize what I should suppress. But to be honest, if you said 10 years ago to me that I can talk to a robot about any topic in real time. Probably would have been like, you're crazy. Or that it'd be very basic and uninteresting. Like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Actually, even back in like the AOL Instant Messenger days, there was a bot called Smarter Child, and it was probably some like Markov chain based thing that would kind of respond to you like a human would, but it was very shallow. Now I feel like, yeah, you probably could just have a conversation with ChatGPT about something. In fact, there's something I've been meaning to try out, which is like, is there an AI podcast or something like that out there where you could just say something like, "Hey, I want gaming news. Like, make me a podcast episode, but in real time." It probably exists. I don't think this is probably super hard to do. But yeah, is there some site? Because sometimes I'm doing the dishes and like I can't really talk to someone easily because there's a lot of noise or that I'm distracted. And I'm like, I want to listen to something, but I don't want to go find that something. But I wonder how much of this you'd have to trust. Like, is it just hallucinating at you? All right, so dialogue.set dialogue. So this is going to be show new or like new or load game dialogue. Yeah, now we understand the depth of it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we got to do one of those two things. We got to either call that or we got to call loaded game. So our options are going to be continue, maybe like new game. I need some IDs here. Where do those come from? What is it about auto purchasing? Ah, there it was. The ID. Oh, come on. Yeah, here it is. Just a string. Okay. That should be fine. So this is new game dialog option ID and load game dialog. So new and load. What's the problem? Just that they're not being used? Yeah. Okay, so new game, put that there. Then load game, and then show dismiss. Title, what do we need as a title? Maybe like saved game found. You have a saved game already. Do you want to start a new one or continue the existing game? You have a town, I want to use the word saved somewhere. You have a town saved already. Do you want to start a new one or continue the existing? Continue the existing one. New game, continue game. Character portrait, can we just say none? Yes, we can. Dismiss, show dismiss. I don't think we even need to do that. Submit option is probably going to be continue game. So now delete this stuff and then show this and then keep track of when you, well, like chose option, chose, I don't know what we call this. There it is, dialog.option pressed. This might not work. Hey, Nativo. Is it possible to have multiple games saved, or is it overwriting the existing game if I click new? So for right now, it's going to be overwriting the existing one, but in the future, we'll have different save slots. but there's no reason to add new save slots right now because it's just the demo and playtesters. So yeah, before launch, we should definitely add multiple save slots. Okay, so here's what we have to do. We need to somehow do this. Delete these things. When you dismiss the dialog, what's going to happen? Pretty much nothing, right? Yeah. When you press an option, we want to get which option you pressed, which takes in an option ID. And we do if, oh, there we go. Perfect. This is not what this should be called, right? It should be loaded game. Oh, it can't be called loaded game. What? Load game, excuse me. I'm like, I just made this function and there was no error. All right, how does that look? I don't know. Let's try it. So I go to the title screen. I click story mode. And then it fails on me. What's doing that save version mismatch thing? This here? It's got to be that. Or it's got to be the checking to see if you have a save file. Save files from older versions. Save files from... Here it is. Old save file not supported. Where do we call this from? Oh, where'd this come from? Okay, well, that was dumb. Yeah, let's try that again. All right. Cool. Yeah. So saved game found. You have a town saved already. Do you want to start a new game or continue the existing one? So I hit dismiss. It does nothing, right? If I hit continue, it should load the one I had. It did. Nice. I have the treasure room and everything. And if I hit new, it should start a new game. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Because now it's clear when you're clicking the button what mode you wanted to do, as opposed to having a discrete load game button here. And then when you click that, being like, well, do you want story mode? Do you want challenge mode? Do you even have one of those save files? Yeah, so we can delete that. Okay, so private const string new file button. What does it say? New game. And then continue game. Put these things up here. New file button. It probably shouldn't be called button. Get continue game button. Yeah, I don't like that. New file. Yeah, just delete the word button from this stuff. Save game found. Cool. Hello. There we go. Okay, and then this one is going to be messages dot get save game found description, and then this should be title. So saved game found title, and then description. Is that what I had typed out already? How did it know that? Huh, wow, that means that it must know what's on my clipboard. I mean, that is what I was going to type out, but I don't think it intuited that. I think it got it from the clipboard. Shall go cook now. All right, yeah, take care. Hope you have some good food. Excuse me. Sneeze. Okay, So the only thing I still want to change here is this. This will be on press story mode button. And then just delete the rest of this. Are there 2 semicolons here? Yeah. To note, I'm gonna think about take over. Good luck with that. Okay, not too shabby. All right, so now what do we have to do? Change the buttons on the title screen. Only show play and quit at first. Clicking play will make a new game. If you have save data, do this. Once you unlock challenge mode, change that to that. And then clicking challenge mode should show new run and continue run, assuming you have an ongoing run. Yeah, so right now there is no way of loading from within challenge mode, so we need to add that, but I'm not going to do that right now. When in challenge mode, or no, before starting a challenge mode run, the new run dialog should detect whether you have a saved incomplete run, and if so, it should show a continue run button in addition to being able to make a new one. Yeah. All right, so what was all this for? This is so that I could get rid of these IDs so that Game Saver could hopefully change. And I never even did the change. I did this, I guess. Yeah, well, let's check in what I've done. So this max size container thing, I think we should probably check in. Potentially fix max size container bug. There was an infinite loop that was crashing Godot due to method not found. That doesn't sound good. It definitely doesn't sound good. Oh man, why is it so difficult? How could it possibly say method not found? It's definitely there. I don't know. Does it still happen now? Can I clear this? Yeah. Does it still happen? So far, it looks like it's fine. What if I go back to here? Still fine. Click this. Still fine. Hey, Rima. What am I being saved from? No, we're just literally saving. We're getting a save game and load game feature working. It already worked for the base game, but now we have challenge mode, so we need to save a bunch of other things. By the way, Rimo, I was talking the other day about inspirational streamers, and I wanted to explicitly call this out to you because one of the things that you do that I think you do really well is you see a problem through to the end without complaints or anything. There's just sort of academic curiosity there. And it from a stream longevity perspective, I want that trait. I want to be able to just be like, huh, it's a fun technical problem. Let's just work on it for the next 4 hours. So props to you for being able to do that. I do complain. You might not have seen it. Yeah. Well, I take back my compliment then. I admire nothing about you, right? Anyway, you don't complain as much as most people do for me to have not seen it. So yeah, still kudos. Okay, infinite loop that was crashing Godot due to update margins being able to call itself. There was a function that I'm assuming was intended to be used that I'm now calling, but I'm doing it all over the place since just doing it from the resized event was insufficient. Hey, David. Okay, so check that in. Now check in this next stuff. So we changed the title screen buttons. Yeah, good. We changed a very tiny bit of this. So backups now don't use the ID. This technically isn't necessary to check in yet. So I shouldn't check that in yet. I should just check in these two things. Let's take a look at the changes here. This looks good. Looks good. Good. Yeah. Cool. Wait, I never tested. I need to test one more little thing. But yes, this is all looking pretty good. The one thing I need to test is we need to go into, where's that save file? Whoops, I should just type it out like this. S save data / cm save. Yeah, I want to set this to false and I want to run this. So now it should say play game and quit, I believe. And this is what new players will see. Play game, quit game, yeah. All right. And that's only because we have a save file. I also didn't test what happens if we delete the save file. Goodbye. Now let's try it out. Yeah, just brings us to a game. Awesome, 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 awesome. That is really good. Okay, so change title screen. There used to be 4 discrete buttons. New game, challenge mode, load game, and quit game. The issue is that load game is a little bit confusing since you would, it's a little bit confusing once you have 2 modes, since you would need to pick which mode you want to load. I'd rather that logic be in each individual mode. Now, the load game button has been deleted. The new game button will either show play or story mode, depending on whether you've unlocked challenge mode. And clicking that new game button will now detect a save file and ask if you want to load it or make a new game. Okay. Whew. Glad you included a version field in the save game file. Yeah, definitely necessary. All right, so we still need to go clean up those to-do items in here, title screen. No, not title screen, game saver. Yeah, here. All right, handle autosave and deduplicate this function. Let's do that. Hey, TJ. Looks like you have the hang of this Godot thing. We're not even really using Godot for a lot of what we're doing here. I know I'm popping over to the editor once in a while, but a lot of what we're doing is just straight up C# at this point. Okay, so here's what we need. We need to pass in some data. We need to figure out which save file path we need for this. Then we serialize it, write it all, and then if it's autosave, we save a backup of that. So it's basically just a question of which save data. It'd be nice if these inherited from something that then I could just pass in a thing for this. Hey, Becca. Why use C# instead of GDScript? I've got a quick answer there at least. But it was basically, the short answer is I didn't think GDScript was mature enough. It wasn't really due to already knowing C#. And I'm pretty happy with the usage of C#. I think it's nice. I think I also would have been fine with GDScript if I had used it for long enough. So yeah, I don't really think there's a wrong choice. All right, so we could just pass in, what does serialize take in? Just says loading. Is this gonna ever load? No. Now let's reload this then. Well, now there's also the commands database that people can just go explore if they want to. So if they do want to search for something like their tomorrow command, they could find it. Does it have named arguments in function call for both positional and default arguments? Yeah. And we use that in a lot of places for something like this. So like you can see I'm saying value colon. This is saying that it's going to be the value parameter. And yet value is required. Sorry, I should have made that clear. Here's what this looks like. So if we want to specify is rare, we can. In fact, do we do that? Yeah, we do in a couple of places. All right, what was I doing just before this? Oh yeah, trying to see what this was. And now it will load. And it's just a generic function. So we just need to pass in data. I guess it's how we get the data that's going to be different. That alone, I'd switch, really? Wow. Yeah, there's no way to just get a generic one of these. I guess we could just pass in a JSON string. Yeah. Yeah, we could just pass in a JSON string. Save JSON. So we take in the JSON string. And then copy this down to here. So we don't get the data. We don't get the string. We get the file path. So we need to know what the file path is going to be. Oh, and then whether or not this is autosave. And then a town. All right, there we go. Now we go call this. I guess I could just do this here. Oh, no, I can't do this here. Yeah, this is where having them implement the same interface or something would have been nice. So JSON string goes like that. Write all text is deleted. And then same thing down here. Delete that. Okay. Yeah, I think this can still be cleaned up a little bit. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not great. Well, anyway, there's that for now. And then load also needs to be done. Parameterize this with a Boolean so we know what to load rather than having load challenge mode data. We don't ever need to know what to load, though. We can figure it out from this, can't we? No, wait. Yeah, we could. Yeah. Is there any limitation of C# integration in Godot, like certain platform exports not working? Yes. Currently, web export doesn't work, but they are working on that, and it's looking promising. But yes, right now, if I wanted to put Skeleseller in a web export, so like I did for idle ascendance, is going to load. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah. Hey, Duchesne. Not sure that's currently fixed. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this works in GD script so that you could just play a game without downloading something explicitly. But it doesn't work in C#. But as mentioned, they are working on that. So let's say you didn't have a game right now and you start a game right this instant. By the time it's ready, I think web export will be working. And don't quote me on that, right? I can't I can't guarantee the future. But yeah, I suspect they're going to get it in like the next major version. All right, parameterizes a Boolean. We'll already know this because of this, right? Is loading equals true, return load challenge mode data. So this function is probably very similar to this other function. Yes. All right, I'd like to see them side by side though. So let's go see. Whoops. I'll put this over here. This is how we load existing stuff. Maybe I'll just copy the whole function. All right, so that's load. And then we need load challenge mode. And then I want to compare this with this. And then I guess put these things back over here. Okay, what's different? So for the town, we'd throw an error, but here we would just create the save data. This should probably happen at startup. Probably does happen at startup. And then what? We just get different data? Okay, seems reasonable. Yeah, seems reasonable. Interesting to change. Hot reloading is really nice. I've tried it for Godot and it just doesn't work reliably. At least not for C#. Okay, so I gotta be very, very careful about what I'm doing here. We call this from somewhere, and I gotta find out where. No, that's not right. Uh-oh. Maybe this is what we call from somewhere? Yeah, there it is, right there. Load challenge mode data. So this needs to be something like ensure challenge mode file exists. And that's it. Although I guess we are loading its data. Because without doing that, we wouldn't even know if you have challenge mode unlocked. Indeed. Create empty. All right. This is so difficult. Man, because I don't want to load, like, the full flow is that if you don't have a challenge mode save file, we need to make one right from the get-go, because that's how we detect whether you even unlocked it. We could use the lack of a save file to indicate that you have not unlocked this thing, but then we need to store that information in memory anyway. Define the memory to keep between reloads and pretty much swap the DLL that your running game will use. I see. It always seems reasonable until it doesn't. What design patterns are you using? I never totally know how to answer this question because different people mean different things when they ask this. So design patterns are pretty much everywhere, and you'll use different ones depending on what part of the game you're talking about. So as an example, for a lot of our entities, we use an entity component system. This is a design pattern, but you might not be just generically asking about that. You might be asking like, what do we use for saving and loading? And even then, it's like if you ever have inheritance, like that in itself is object-oriented programming to some extent. Like that could be considered a design pattern of how you remove duplicated code. And even small things like if you're using a builder pattern to form an object. So like listing out all the design patterns you use is not really easily doable. And especially now when you have like tens of thousands of lines of code, you'd have to look at every little bit and be like, oh yeah, that's the adapter pattern right there, and that's the whatever else. So yeah, I'm happy to answer maybe a more specific version of that question depending on what your intent is with this. All right, so I'm thinking is we have load taken a Boolean and then do things based on that Boolean. But is loading would never be set to false if we do this? Oh man, I gotta think about this. We create an empty one of these, we load it in. So we'll know that we don't have an ongoing save. And this is whatever the defaults were. This is whatever the defaults are. This stuff doesn't really matter though, does it? So we write all of that, then we read it all. And we load it into this. And the progress itself will know if you've unlocked challenge mode. I don't think we should do this. I don't know what we should do though. So right now we store whether or not you've unlocked challenge mode in cmsave.json. We could just use the absence of that file as proof that you haven't unlocked it. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Agent. Python skills are wicked. I'm using C#, just to be clear. My Python skills may be wicked, but you probably haven't seen them. Or what would this let us do, I wonder? What is unlocking challenge mode? So two things. For a regular, like a release build of the game, it's beating story mode. And for a playtest version, it's permanently unlocked. I'm just gonna type perma unlocked because that's the whole thing we're playtesting. But yeah, for most players, it's gonna be that you just beat the game and then you get challenge mode. So yeah, I think just not having the file should be fine. And then we just don't keep track of whether you've unlocked it or not. I don't see why we would do anything different there. And then before we ever show you the challenge mode button, we make sure that that file exists. But what does this gain us? I'm trying to figure out what else is in it. Oh, all the challenge mode data. So meta perks, the difficulty level you've unlocked, maybe eventually like run history or something. What else? And if you have an ongoing run, it'll have that particular thing, so you could load it and continue. So to show you in a more visual way here, let me load up the game because it's pretty straightforward. I think, yeah. Hang on a second. I turned it off. There. So yeah, this stuff will get saved. Pretty much everything you do in this UI. So I have 100 perk points. If I were to click like this and this, and then I think I have to enter challenge mode and then save. So now the save file contains the ongoing run. That's all of this information. And then the 2 perks that I just chose. And now that we're down to 80 perk points, it saves that too. So it's like, yeah, everything you're doing here. So progress, if you want to reset challenge mode, you'd have to be careful about deleting it and losing the unlocking of it, right? Yes. Ideally, the only thing that would delete it though would be a bug. Like if a player is modifying their save files, then like all bets are off for any sort of guarantees we can give you. And if there's a bug, then The bug could just be in the logic that we have and not even deleting it. Either you, the dev, or someone else. I mean, yeah, but the someone else part is kind of what I'm saying. Like, let's say you download a game, like you're playing Overwatch 2, and you go into a random folder and you're like, I'm gonna delete like file X. The game probably won't work anymore. So I think deleting your save file is also one of those cases where like you should just do it through the game. The game will eventually expose a way of you saying like, oh, start a new save slot or something. And if you do it through the game, then we could guarantee that it's going to work. But if you just randomly delete files from your disk, then yeah, it might be a problem. Now I get that we might understand that, oh, people might find this folder anyway and delete it and see what happens and then never be able to play again because they'll never unlock challenge mode. And I don't think it's much of a concern. I was thinking of backing up all your saves and moving computers. I think Steam Cloud should handle that, right? Now, granted, you could download it from itch, in which case you won't have that feature. But I think your save files should just roam. They would have to re-download the game. Well, if you got into that state, presumably all you'd have to do is like load your story mode game and then beat it again. But actually, I was thinking of putting in an escape hatch anyway, regardless of this technical problem, which is in the settings somewhere, there's a skip story mode. And you could just like check this checkbox and it'll just immediately give you this button. And that would be for people who are like, oh, hey, I want to show my friend this game. So you go to their computer and they buy the game for the first time and you're like, oh man, no, I wanted to show you challenge mode though. So you go into settings and you click the, show challenge mode by default. And it's like, are you sure you really should go through story mode? And you click yes. And then challenge mode shows up. So you could also just do that, I guess. Anyway, I think this is really neither here nor there. We could get this code working regardless, and it's just a question of how clean will the code be. So maybe I should just do something that works here and then worry about this later. So as far as saving the game goes, we now have this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to check this in. Address to do for saving the game. We no longer use the town ID when backing up a save file. This should now work for challenge mode and for story mode. No longer use the town ID when backing up a save file because we'll eventually have save slots for this. This is going to stop this from existing. We have like a million save files here because I keep making new games. This will not be a thing in the future. Hey, Gunspec. Gotcha. So there's a third way to unlock as an escape hatch. No worries then. Yeah, at least that's what I'm thinking. There is a certain set of users who will be new to the game and then access challenge mode immediately anyway, and then probably get frustrated. So that's kind of a risk of adding that escape hatch, but that's why I think we just add more and more confirmation dialogues. Like this button that lets you access this anyway would probably save you 5 hours. So if we're like, are you sure? And then, are you really sure? I think it's okay to cost you an extra couple seconds just to make certain that you're like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I should really go through the tutorial. There's really no other config file you could store the CM mode unlocked flag. Sorry if you've explained before. I could make a new one. We could store it technically anywhere. Also, I guess if you want to delete all your save data, you might want to delete that you even unlocked it. I'm not sure. Better to make it work and delay putting too much time into it when you're missing later context for that small feature. Yeah. That's my thinking, at least. So we're going to go back to the game saver thing, and we're just going to get this working. So what are we doing here? It's mostly just this that's throwing a wrench in everything. And I guess it's already working right now. I don't even really need to do anything here. So I guess we just need to clean this up to some extent. Hmm. Is loading is true. Return load challenge mode data. This set is loading to false. It doesn't? What? Done loading. Where's this called from? Town. That's not right. What is this? Town.init is loading from the wrong place. Always loading the story mode file. Okay, where else do we call this? It's literally just there. So then isn't this going to be broken? We won't be able to save a file? I think I think that's how that's going to work. What does that mean? Doesn't that mean loading is going to fail? Game is already loading. It cannot load again. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to break. Okay, let's try this out. I delete this file. I go start up the game. So now it's going to create the challenge mode thing. Oh, but it's not going to the title screen for me. Oh, man. I don't want to skip the title screen. Skip title screen, false. Now delete this file again, and now run this again. And now I click something. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I don't have a save file, so I guess that's technically working. I need to save this. Let's save zoomed in on the guild. So now when we load, it'll be zoomed on the guild still. And then I want to try that one more time because I'm nearly positive something's broken here. I click this, I click continue, and it should just never load. It does load. How does that work? What? How does that work? GameSaver.load is right here. Shouldn't is loading be set to true? Oh no, I see. I see what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Laxton, thanks for the resub. Happy 3 months. Well, happy 3 month streak at least. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So should I even do anything here? God, I wonder. Create empty, challenge mode, save data, loading, get the JSON string, deserialize it into the right thing. Check to see if that's there, then deserialize it into a different thing, and then load from there. I still think having 2 different game saver classes is probably the best idea. And then we can delegate to different virtual functions, whether we're doing this or whether we're doing this. Yeah, I think that would probably make sense. But I'm still not going to do that. I'm probably just not going to touch this at all. Yeah. Mode JSON string. Ensure save file is up to date, something like that. All right, let's do that. save version is up to date. All right, what are we doing? We're passing in a JSON string. There we go. Now call this from here. Delete all of that. And call this from here. I mean, we might as well consolidate this where we easily can. And yeah, maybe that's it. So is loading can be set to true no matter what, right? Oh, it wouldn't in the case that the save version is wrong. Maybe in that case we just say is loading the false. And now we can do this no matter what. And then we either load challenge mode data or we load story mode data. Load story mode data. And that's where all this would go. But then wouldn't this be private? This one would be, yeah. Private static void load story mode data. Yay. Oh, wait, not void. Cool. Okie dokie. Yeah, okie dokie. We can simplify this a little bit too. All right, I guess that's probably as clear as we're going to get it for now. Yeah, sure. All right, so who knows if any of this works? How would I even test this? I can't easily test it because we didn't get loading challenge mode to work completely. We just load the data that you might have saved. So I guess let's try that. Let's try saving some perks and seeing what happens. And we might already have some saved. I don't remember if I deleted the file. That doesn't look good. Why don't I have perk points? Because I manually set it to 0? Yeah, I manually set it to 0. Or manually set it to 10,000. So I need to go into this and set it back to 10,000. There. So now I'll have 100 perk points worth of reputation, which if I click refund, I'll get. So now I have 100 perk points. So now let's click 1, 3, and 5. There. So now I'm going to go into challenge mode, and we're going to, that's not how that works because there's a tiny bug there. That doesn't have to do with saving and loading. So now we save that, and we go look at our file, and we should have, yep, 3 different perks. We have 70 perk points left. It's not easy to tell from there if those are in the right positions, but I'm guessing they are, yeah. So now if we actually start a new run, we should have the expanded potion shop and the expanded weapon shop. Yep. And yep. And no armor shop. Yep. Just 2. Okie dokes. Yeah. Nice. And it should say the difficulty level too, I think. So if I start on level 3 and I save and go back to the title screen, it's level 3. Then I quit and go back into the game completely. It should still know that it's level 3, I think. Yeah, nice. All right, cool. Checks before starting challenge mode. Should have said, yeah. Okay, we have everything written down. Okay, well, we're making progress. I can't say this file is great. Probably should have done some things differently along the way. Yeah, I'll write this down. Fine. Why not? Clean up. So ideally, there's a base class for game saver, or like specific mode game saver. and game saver, the static class, has a makes an instance for which particular mode we need to save, then we can remove more duplication from the save/load functions in game saver. Yeah, maybe I do that, maybe not. All right, let's go check this in. So now there should be no to-do items in the code, right? Yeah, no, not. Good. This doesn't need to be checked in. Yeah, that doesn't need to be checked in, but this does. Address loading base to do in the code. There's always room for improvement and overhauls, but I doubt I'd be the one to say it's good because I thought it was Python, but it looks good. No, it's definitely true. I think there is this concept of perfect code that is kind of pointless to try to reach. I think you should strive for good code. That's worth doing. But trying to get it to be perfect is not worth it if you're running a business. I think things should be maintainable. It should ideally be tested. It shouldn't be too hard to iterate on any features. But yeah, perfect design is like it's just a difficult thing to reach. And it's kind of the Pareto principle of you're going to spend, what, 80% of your time, or I don't know, you're going to spend the majority of your time getting a good code. And then, I think I'm saying this backwards. It's going to take you just as long to get the perfect code. So 0 to 80% is like the same amount of time from 0 to, or from 80 to 100%. All right, this is... Yeah, I don't think clever looking code is really needed, but I don't think a lot of people think of, like, I think there are two dichotomies. There's like normal code versus clever code. And then there's bad code versus good code. And you could kind of consider that to be in the same bucket. But as an example, what I mean is, let's say you had, I don't know, an if statement with like 99 else's. That's probably just bad code. And if you had some, like, I don't know, a dictionary or a dynamic lookup of whatever it is you need for this, like, that's probably good code. It's not necessarily clever in that case, but I think of this as being the more problematic scenario. Some people don't know how to write good code, so then it becomes an unmaintainable mess. And when you have to go and fix it, you have to like redesign the feature, make sure you don't break any existing functionality. Then there's Hiram's law, which says that any observable behavior is going to be dependent on. So like there's going to be some game player who's like, oh yeah, when you click escape or when you click this button here, it does a thing that I needed it to do. And now it's not doing that anymore, but that was always a bug. And it's like, anyway, a lot of things that are intertwined there. I assume clever code is some fancy and unexpected way of doing things with symbols like that. Yeah, in general, something like that. So imagine if you're like, you have some value and it's equal to 4 and you do like some value this bit shift left by 2. It's like, if you know what this is doing, maybe this would have been better at some point, although the compiler should optimize every line you would have written here out to be the same thing, hopefully. But like, this is not readable to most people. Is it better than a switch on a discriminated union? Performance-wise, the latter looks better to me. Yeah, this is I think a bad example. What I mean is something along the lines of like, imagine you've got some like sprawling 40,000 line function or something. It's like, that's probably just bad code. You probably shouldn't have a function that takes multiple days to look through. And I don't think it's that anyone was trying to be clever there. It was just that they didn't know what they should be doing. All right, has save file has to change. It checks for story mode, but we'll need to check for the mode we're in. Has save file. I think I already have this written down in 2 different places. Yeah. So much can be done, but the syntax is awful. Yeah, and also I think for most languages, you should rely on the compiler optimizing it. Like back in the days of having kilobytes of memory and very slow CPUs, yes, you would want to multiply in a way that's optimized for the hardware because you're probably doing multiplications all the time. But now we have so much overhead that I don't think you should be considering like how am I multiplying these two numbers? Unless it's something you're doing like billions of times per second. Anyway, I'm glad we're kind of in the scenario we're in. It's like hardware's gotten cheaper, it's gotten better. And I think if you're not trying to push the limits in some industry, like in gaming, if you're not trying to go for super realistic graphics, then yeah, you have a lot of overhead that you can work with. If you are trying to get super realistic graphics, then it's like, okay, now you need a fast enough computer to even run it. You're already cutting out some players. You funky monkey. I like all your badges that you have. See NASA rules of coding? Saw a guy reviewing a website. I think I've seen him a while ago. I think the NASA rules of coding are for things that actually go into space, right? Like, I'm assuming it's not for like the NASA website, for example. They can probably be pretty fast and loose there. But yeah, if something's going into space, it's like they're not going to be able to update that code again in the future. So any potential bug is something they've got to make sure does not exist. That's a very, very exceptional case of coding something. Most people are going to be able to get access to something, even if it's like, mildly expensive. Maybe you have to go on premises for something, but in NASA, it's like, well, we're shipping this thing off to Mars. Good luck getting to it. If it's too much to keep in mind at once, a big procedure is bad. If you have separate paths that ask for a small amount of things in mind, that'd be better than many small files that split the behavior. Yeah, I still think we're probably getting a little too in the weeds here. I'm trying to come up with an example within like 5 seconds of a thing that's pretty uncontroversial, and it's turning out to be controversial. But my main point was basically like there are coders who do bad things without knowing they're bad. And in my mind, this is a problem. It's okay if you're a coder who does a bad thing and knows that it's bad and knows what their impact is going to be. The problem is when you're doing a bad thing and you don't know what that bad thing is going to be. So basically, you just write a code base that's harder to maintain just because of a lack of experience. Hey, Brown Hound, ship a developer with it. You're going to Mars. Got good news and I've got bad news. Bad news is you're just there to maintain C code, and you'll probably die on your way there. All right, so it has save file. So where is this called from? Probably like 2 places. Yeah, 2 places. And now in this case, do we know what mode you're in? Bool is challenge mode. I guess let's just do that. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we got to go change the colors of this stuff. So this has save file based on whether or not you're in this. So main dot, where is this? No, it's on the title screen. Title screen gameplay mode is challenge mode. And then there's one more call to this. And it is here. This is when you press the story mode button. So this one has to just be false. Is challenge mode false? Yeah. Okay, but doesn't the town do this? Didn't I just write this down? Load from JSON save data. This is not good. This is going to be like get town save data. All right, it should be an easy function to write. Public static town save data, get town save data. This might not exist, right? No, it is guaranteed to exist. Okay. If title screen is challenge mode, return this. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's going to be difficult to know that this is working, but I think I did it. So let's try this out. Here's how we'll tell. We'll just set our money to something that's very obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if we load the challenge mode save file, then we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we load the regular mode save file, we'll see something different. So let's click challenge mode, and I'm going to click load from within here. And yes, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then if I go to regular mode, it loads it as 100, and we're zoomed in on the guild. So nice. It's loading the right save file. Oh. Okay. We're making progress. So don't check in main, but check in everything else. Load the correct save file. We used to default to the story mode save file in most places. Now we pick the right one. Auto save challenge mode, just like regular runs. They should automatically know which file to save to based on the current mode. We should probably also automatically save after a run is done, and we should probably also automatically save when you modify meta perks. Okay, I think this should happen automatically. I mean, already it's called autosave. It should happen automatically, but I think we don't need to write any special code for this. But I don't know where autosave even takes place. So let's go over to here and see save is autosave. So something passes in true for this. Here is autosave is in-game menu. In-game menu triggers this itself. It does. There it is. Okay, so we need to change this to be every 3 seconds, every 10 seconds. Let's set it to 7. So I don't need to wait too long for this to happen. And let's delete all these other save files that I have here. Wow. Sending 1,453 items to trash. Okay, cool. We're done with that. Okay, so now every 7 seconds, it should try auto-saving in challenge mode. So all we need to do is look at this folder and then go into challenge mode and wait 7 seconds. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's a timer right there. 6, 7. Yeah, nice. CM save backup. Cool. Recommend any podcasts? I am not a podcast person. There was a short period of time where I was making a podcast with a friend of mine, and as research, I needed to look into podcasts, and it was just supposed to be comedy podcasts, and I didn't like a lot of them. I don't know why I don't like podcasts. Also, I feel like more and more celebrities are making podcasts now. I wonder if maybe I should give it another shot. I think part of what I don't like is the advertising structure of them. Like a podcast is, let's say, 30 minutes long or something. You're probably going to have 2 ad breaks in the middle of it, and they're in ways that it's hard to get rid of those ad breaks. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't like that for some reason. Are you looking for any in particular though, Funky Monkey? Like tech news or comedy stuff or just, I don't know, storytelling? Hey, Codex. Music is better for getting work done. I think being distracted by Twitch chat is better for getting work done. Also, I can't help but laugh. I think you joked at the beginning of your VOD, Codex. You're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put this online for like the 12 views it's gonna get," and I think it's sitting at exactly 12 views right now. It has not a pretzel. Did you make your food? Tech-based or storytelling is my preference. Yeah, well, maybe chat can chime in. Do you have any podcasts you enjoy, chat, that can help Funky Monkey? All right, so it looks like auto saving is working. What we should probably do is we should probably spend some money here. So let's spend 10 gold, and then we'll wait 7 seconds. Good, and then I'll load. Nice. Okay, it worked. Surely did. I'm not saying that to the mic. Y'all think I'm a dummy. What'd you make? Probably also automatically save after a run is done. Okay, so how do we do that? And why do we do that? Save after a run is done. Oh, right, because then you get perk points and stuff. Yeah, I guess we just call autosave. Rice and chicken. Sounds good. Hey, Soli. Sorry, I missed your message. It was from 10 minutes ago. Yeah, my bad. So where does a run end in challenge mode? Challenge mode details. Game ended. Ah, here it is. End game. All right, I think this should probably trigger saving the game. Yeah, I probably should take a break pretty soon. Let me take a look at in this at least. Show end screen. I also want to save this, I guess, to do save the game. All right, so how do we do that? In-game menu has on save, invoke true. What listens for this? The UI does. Wow, would you look at that? Gamesaver.save. So shouldn't this be dead simple? True. Save now that you've completed the run. Shouldn't we save it with no town? What else do we use the town for here? Oh, for rendering. Oh, God. Ugh. Yeah, I think we get rid of this. I think we do this question mark null. And then here we assume the town has to exist. And then this changes. Wait, no, in this case it has to exist as well. Whatever. Gather a Windows Task Manager amongst other Windows apps. It was an interesting listen. You might also find interesting. Sorry, the thing that went through my head is the mom test and how I did go get that audiobook and started listening to it and then did not continue listening to it, although I think it was probably valuable. And then the thing that went through my head is just media recommendations in general. And a long time ago in the Botland days, I used to write down all of them. Like if someone was like, hey, you should check out this book, I'd go write it down. Or hey, you should watch a YouTube video or something. And then my to-do list got to like 3,000 lines long. So if you think it's like a 10 out of 10, would definitely recommend, then I can go check it out. But if it's anything less than a 10 out of 10, I will probably not go look it up. Or an entrepreneurial type of podcast. And there's so many different realms of things you can get into. And if you have enough experience, I feel like it kind of changes how you look at the world. Like if you're trying to make a successful business, or if you've made a successful business, you probably have more insight into what goes into making a successful business. And then when you see a friend doing a hobby, you probably look at them like, how are they going to make money off of this? When maybe that's not a goal of theirs to begin with. And I wonder how much these entrepreneurial podcasts do start to shift you more toward like, gotta make money. This is how I put value into my life. And I'm not saying everyone falls prey to that, or that that's even a goal of those podcasts. It probably is to just get some listeners. Okay, so now we save, but we're saving with the town and we want to save with null. Save now that you completed a run, but without the town data so that we know the run is complete. So what happens if you try loading and there is no town? Yeah, if the town data is null, then you don't have a run, an ongoing run. Should probably have game saver dot has ongoing challenge run for this. So delete this stuff. Title screen. Yeah, delete all that stuff. Hey, Jason. Like listening to Lex Friedman whenever he has famous programmers like John Carmack or James Gosling. Yeah, I think I saw part of an interview he did with Mark Zuckerberg. I think it was about the metaverse. Um, I think interviews can be interesting. It depends how much you want to get into the world of user testing, to be honest. Does a good job highlighting some of the mistakes people make and wrong conclusions you can reach from asking the wrong kinds of questions. I see. Yeah. I think my general takeaway on the user experience and user testing side of things is that I have an interest. I think it's valuable. But then I don't necessarily want to spend my time doing it, even though I think it's valuable. I think part of the reason has to do with like, where is my focus right now? And I don't mean right this instant while I'm responding to Twitch chat, but in general, it's like get challenge mode to be playable. That's my big thing. And I think the signals that I'm going to use for is it fun is basically going to come down to like playtime and user sentiment. And I get that you can ask the wrong questions and think that it's doing well. But I think I've kind of calibrated enough at this point where I can separate out the, I don't know, the wheat from the chaff. Yeah. I was thinking briefly yesterday, what if Skeleseller is a huge success? And then I take a year to learn drawing on stream. You know, one of the first thoughts that went through my mind is I probably wouldn't enjoy this time. Like the first day, the first week, it'd probably seem exciting. Like, hey, this guy's gonna document his whole drawing journey, and I'd have challenges and ways of involving the community and everything. And then week 2, it's like, okay, the hype died down, and now I'm just like drawing faces and hands and circles and buildings, and it doesn't look good, and I'm probably not enjoying it. And I want to get back to coding, and people are like, why is this guy streaming this stuff? All right, so this part is done. This I kind of wonder about. How often might people do the following? They get into the game. We enjoy the Atom art, yeah. Well, imagine if it actually starts to look good. Then there wouldn't even be a joke anymore. If we did that, I would stay endlessly to ask for a single furry drawing. I don't know how long it would take from my current drawing ability to being able to draw pretty much anything. Like if I wanted to draw this shield, this looks probably simple enough. It's basically 2 shapes, right? The overall shield and then it's like cut out. And then the coloring itself isn't too bad, although shading it would probably be harder for me. But like how long would it take for me to make this graphic without having any drawing ability? Also, I guess it's different if you're making something from a reference. Like if I gave you this graphic and I'm like, go remake it, it's probably not too hard for most people. But if I'm like, draw a shop with a couple of people and some items for sale. That's quantitative analysis. If you want to understand the reasons why playtime is high or low or what people enjoy or don't enjoy, that's where one-on-one sessions and focus groups come in. Yeah, yeah. And one of the things, and this is where I'm going to be asking all the new playtesters, like the main thing I want from them is a recorded session and alternatively a Discord call where I'm mostly observing. These have been so valuable. They've been really, really great. But one of the problems is there's only one first time for people playing the game. So if I'm interested in the first time stuff, the thing that's really tough about challenge mode in particular is you first have to play the demo. And it's just tough to find people who are like, yeah, I'm willing to spend 2 hours playing something that is not your focus, and I actually don't care about a video for that, and then go record a video. So I'm asking for like 3 hours of commitment. And there are people who are willing to do that. I've got like 5 or 6 who are awaiting a message from me now, which is nice. So yeah, I'm hoping I learn a lot from that. And I'm also kind of trusting in some of the game design that I'm doing here. Like the overall question is it fun? Excuse me. And do you want to keep playing? And the is it fun part, I at least think it's going to be fun. I don't know the answer to this one yet. And I'm going to play test it myself. And that'll also let me know. Because I was having fun with the base challenge mode. So hopefully I have fun with this new challenge mode. All right, anyway, the scenario I was thinking about is this. You enter this screen here and you click a few different perks. And then you just hit quick game. Should it save that? And I think the answer is no, it shouldn't. So I think I'm just going to get rid of this. I just don't know why someone would modify perks and then quit the game immediately. If you start a challenge mode run, then they'll eventually be auto-saved. If you quit within 5 minutes, they won't be saved, but you can just recreate your configuration. Also, I wonder if we should have some warning when you start challenge mode and you haven't picked all of your perks. Or maybe we should do it if you've picked none of your perks. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. If you haven't picked any perks or meta perks before and try to start a challenge mode run. Oh, wait a second. There's going to be a problem here. Hang on, I got to think about this loading with meta perks. If you haven't picked any meta perks and try to start a challenge mode run, we should probably warn you. Because it probably means you re-specialized without making any choices. Okay, I didn't think about this. I don't know what we're going to do about this part. Loading with meta perks. Okay, so here's the issue here. You will eventually have enough meta perk points where you're like, okay, this is my build. I click this. All right, so cool. We picked, whatever, 6 skills. And then you go back to this screen, and instead of starting a new run, you're like, oh, I already had a run going. So you click continue. Continuing your run is going to ignore whatever you had for your meta perks that you just chose. And I don't know if it's going to be obvious to people. Maybe as soon as you click challenge mode, it should pop up a thing saying you have a run. Yeah, maybe that's when we should do it. That way you don't even get to the point where you can click this button. It's just like this. It'll say saved game found. You have a challenge mode run you already started. Do you want to continue that one? And if you click continue, you just go right into the game. But if you click new, so imagine I click new here, it would pop this up. And then you'd be able to modify your perks and be like, okay, I know this is going to modify this run now. I think that's probably a better idea. All right, so this part's done. This part's done. For starting a challenge run, so clicking challenge mode on the title screen should immediately check to see if you have a saved incomplete run, and if so, it should show continue run in addition to being able to make a new one. We should do this immediately so that you don't go modify meta perks only to end up clicking load and ignore all of your meta changes. Well, meta perk changes. Okay, let's check out what I've done so far. Then I should probably take a quick break. So we are now saving the town. Yep. And we save this as soon as a run is complete. Yeah. So is that, what did I really do here? Yeah. Save challenge mode at the end of a run. It saves with a null town to indicate that you won the game. Coldfire, thanks for the sub. And welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, we have been making good progress. What do we have left for today? Pretty much all of it still. That's fine. I'm not too concerned on time yet. It is currently 10:42, and other than a lunch break, we'll probably stream until like 3 or 4 once I finish early. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But what are the remaining tasks? This part's easy enough to do. Change load game to show you some basic details. This isn't necessary. When it comes to saving all this, we can just add it to town save data. Yep. Make sure it's selected adventure. Make sure loading for a save file. We built every building, shows the correct special state. Load twists. Stop hard coding this. Store the highest difficulty level. Store the best time. Loading already one thing should show. This shouldn't even be possible. Save which difficulty level is chosen. Should even remember when you get done with this. This is already done. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to do. Not like 4 hours worth. There's probably 2 or 3 hours worth. But yeah, I think it's break time right now. So is it jump time? It's jump time. I like to give my little spiel for this every once in a while. If you have not seen this before, you can type join on Twitch chat, not on YouTube, and then J and a number to jump. And there's some examples here. So have fun trying to make it to the top. I'll be back in a little bit. Hello again. What's the number exactly? So the number is the angle. So hang on, let me show you. If I join, so let me move to the left a little bit so you can see my character. Okay, so here we are. If I want to jump at like a negative, sorry, not a negative angle. Let's say I want to jump to the upper left. I could do J negative 45. So it's going to jump me like up and to the left because it's going to be a 45-degree angle from up. You could also type L45 to do that same thing. So if I want to jump very slightly to the right, you can do something like R5. And now it's a mostly upward jump because it's only 5 degrees from up. R equals right. L equals light. Yes. All right. Anyway, close the game. And let's get back to it. So clicking challenge mode should immediately check to see if you have a saved incomplete run. If so, should show continue run in addition to the other thing. Time data is null. Should probably have has ongoing challenge run. Yeah, let's go do that. All right, game saver. Also, hey, Whip. I don't know if anyone else popped in during the run. No, that was it. So we're going to do this from the title screen. And we're going to make a dialogue like what we had before. But we need to know that you have an ongoing run. So public static bool has ongoing challenge run. So this is going to be, I think, pretty simple, right? We get the challenge mode save data. And we check to see if that's not null. Yeah. Why is that a question mark? That's direction, but jump force is the same. I think you can make another parameter afterward that is the force from 0 to 100. But almost all the time you just want it to be maximum. So I think it just defaults to that. But I don't fully remember how that works. It should be in the full instructions over here, I think. Yeah. There is a power that you could specify, and it's from 1 to 100. But very infrequently do you want to make like a tiny jump. You can also customize your character. If you're a subscriber, you can add a glow effect. A lot of little things you can do. Okay, so now we have this, and I want to do this from the title screen. This is show new or load game dialog, but this is specifically for story mode. Maybe we should say you have a game saved already. Do you want to start a new game? Oh, I don't know. I kind of want this here, but it's gonna go to different things afterward. How's that gonna work? So we're gonna change a string. We're gonna change the start and the load options. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Oh man. Okay, so how do I want to change this? I want to say show new or load game dialog true. And then there's one more case where we do this. False. Okay, now we change this to say is challenge mode. I guess we could just customize everything in here, right? Okay, this shouldn't be too bad then. So what did this say? You have a town saved already. So this is saved game found story mode. Maybe we call it story mode saved game found description. And then a challenge mode one. Whoops. You have a challenge mode run saved already. Do you want to start a new run or continue the existing one? Yeah, there. All right, now we go use the correct string over here. So this is going to be string dialog description is challenge mode question mark. Nice. Good. Okay, new and continue are the same. New game, continue game. New run might be decent. I don't know. And we only want to do this if you actually have a new run. So we got to do something like if game saver. Yeah, nice. Anything else that needs to change in here? What else does it say? Saved game found. Yeah, that's probably reasonable. Then we need to change what we're going to afterward. So if is challenge mode, then we start a new game. No, other way around. Otherwise, we do show new challenge run screen. And load game should be the same regardless. No, it would need to know that you're in challenge mode, and it doesn't know that yet. Interesting. Interesting. But we could do that from here, right? All right. Not too shabby. And now the only way to call this is to have gone through that function. So we delete this from here. Okay. Let's try it out. So it should be able to detect when you have an ongoing run. So let's open this up. Do we have an ongoing run? We do. So it should detect that it has it. When I click this button, you have a challenge mode run saved already. Do you want to start a new one or continue the existing one? So if I hit continue, it should bring us into there. I think we had 40 gold. Yes, 40 gold. Okay. But if I make a new one, oh, it's gotta close the dialog. Why doesn't it close the dialog? That's strange. That is strange. There's no error there. Dismiss works. Why is that not closing it? And why over here? Oh, here it probably also doesn't close it, but there's no way to know because both of these take you to a different screen altogether. So we probably just need to dismiss the dialogue. I don't fully remember how we do this because I want to delete the dialogue actually. Is there like a dialogue dot delete dismiss? Yeah, dismiss. So no matter what you press, dismiss the dialogue afterward. Yeah, that should do it. So click this, click new. Nice. Yeah, nice. And then we start a run. I'm gonna pick level 4, I guess. Oh, wait, before I do that, if I click continue, what level is it? 3 it should be? Yeah, level 3, okay. I'm gonna make a new run now. I'm gonna make it level 4. Now it says level 4, we save, we load, it should still be level 4 and 50 gold. Yep, we click over here, we click new, go back to this, click load, level 4, good. And now if I win this, now it should not have a run detected. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. How is that happening? Show new challenge on screen. It should be this code. I guess it's failing on me. Has ongoing challenge run. This must be returning true. Yes. Why? Because this was not saved in memory. Okay. All right. I see. So I'm saving with a null town, but actually what we want to do is, wait, how does this work? We pass in the town. Oh, seriously? Oh, man. Give me a second here. This should check. Okay, so if I reload the game, then it'll work because it will have loaded this back into memory. So I just need to load from the save file back into memory. But I could technically just wipe it out myself. So now this is false. Yeah. So now it just brings you right to the new screen. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay, well then we need to make this a little bit more difficult, I guess. Like save finished challenge mode run. Excuse me. I had to sneeze. All right. No code actions available. What? Where's generate method? Yeah. Public. So we want to save null true, and then we want to modify main.challenge mode data dot. No. It's a loaded one. Town. So why do I need to do this then? We only use this when we're loading. Save data. Okay. Yeah, okay, I guess. This should work. Yep, Willow. Should it even be saved or just be erased, or is this for statistics? So the thing that we're doing a couple different things. One, we have a challenge mode save.json. This contains your ongoing run and then any persistent information, like meta perks that you chose. It may also eventually have run history, so any stats could go in there. I don't know if they will go in there. They probably will. So anyway, the ongoing run, when you complete a run, we need to null this out. And that'll let us know that we don't have anything we can load from. Because it's kind of weird. Like anything persistent, like these meta perks, for example, when you get more perk points, you don't want to have to manually save that. You expect the game to do that for you. But when you have a run going, you do potentially want to save that specifically. So now everything should work. So if I start a new run and we save and we go to the title screen and I click challenge mode, that's not good. That is not good. What's going on? As challenge mode save data. Yeah, it also isn't saving in here, huh? Man. Maybe we should just load from the save file then. Yeah, there's more long-lived data, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of weird. I think we should just reload after we do this. Load challenge mode data. And probably the same thing after we save. It's just weird that we would do this. We're saving to a file and then we're loading from that file again just so that our in-memory structures are updated correctly. There's got to be a better way than what I'm doing right now. Hey, Yuve. Welcome. Yeah, it's been almost exactly a year. Welcome back. What's the best thing that happened to you in the last year? All right, so this is one thing we could do. The other thing we would need to do here, though, is that when you do save a run, we would need to reload this back into memory so that we know if you have saved data. I think this is dumb. Yeah, I think this is dumb. Yep. I think I want to change it to be that we just load challenge mode data right before checking if you have an ongoing run. There, done, easy. That should fix everything. So now what do I have in this save file? Okay, I have an ongoing run. So when I click this button, it should say load. Good. And if I continue it, everything should be fine. Now I go back to the title screen, should still say that. If I make a new game, great. So now I win this one, and now it should not ask me. Good. And then I'm going to have an ongoing one. and it should ask me. Good. Perfect. That's all working great. Now we should put this somewhere for why we do this the way that we do this. Check immediately for whether you have an ongoing run so that the player doesn't modify meta perks and then decide to load the game, which would invalidate any meta perks they just chose. Yeah. Oop, there we go. Okay, looks good. Saves. Saves challenge mode data, but without the ongoing run, i.e. no town save data. Okay, that looks good. Check that in. Don't check that in. Do check this in. Yep. Yep. And yeah, nice. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. Didn't touch C# like around 1.5 years. I stuck in one of the client projects which is developed in React. I like React, but I miss C#. Don't get enough time to code in C#. I'm sorry to hear that. It's good that you like React though. It'd be bad if you couldn't use something you liked and you also don't like the new thing. But still, what's the best thing to happen to you in the last year? I am curious. It's always nice to see what bubbles up to the top of people's radars. Okay, so this is allow continuing a challenge mode run. The title screen now asks as soon as you click the challenge mode button so that you don't customize meta perks and the difficulty level if you're just going to continue an existing run, which would ignore any of those changes since it was in the past. Hey, level. Try Blazor. Use the C# for reactivity. I'm guessing if they're stuck in a client project, they probably can't change what they're using technology-wise. Fear the use of a JSON save file will make it far too easy to cheat. Just confirmed in the demo, I was able to get myself a ton of gold. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that, though. So I don't know if you've heard of Cheat Engine, but my general understanding of Cheat Engine is that, and I haven't used it, but you type in some value that it then finds in memory, and then you can modify that value. So as soon as you figure out, excuse me, where is gold saved, you could just modify it in the game anyway, and then save. And now, even though the save file itself could be completely impenetrable, it's like, well, you just modified it in memory, so it didn't matter. And people have already talked about using Cheat Engine since like the beginning of Skeleseller. I think some people just have it in their blood to do that. So my general philosophy is it's a single player game. You're not hurting anyone by cheating. So why even try to stop people? And I could see some very minor reasons why not. There was one scenario, which I don't know if anyone is ever going to do this, but it was this scenario, which is like you buy the game, you immediately cheat, and then you find it unfun because you cheated, and then you refund the game. This could potentially be a problem. I don't know if people ever do this. Achievement abuse? Yeah, I don't really think it's a big deal. And I wonder how many people are even interested in that. Like, I consider myself a pretty technical person, but when it comes to a video game, I don't just immediately like try to cheat or get all the achievements or something. I think I need to have some other goal. So let's say it unlocked a cosmetic for you or something on your Steam profile. Like maybe that's worthwhile to do. Or maybe you're trying to be a completionist and any game you can 100% that you buy, you're like, oh, well, now it's not lowering my achievement rate or something. But how many people are out there who are like that? And aren't they going to find a way to do this anyway? I'm never going to hear what was the best thing about Uvrex last year. I'm being ignored. So change load game to show you some basic details from the save file, maybe just last save time and maybe how far into the run you were. I don't think we're going to do this. Yeah. This just isn't worth it for right now. But I do think when we get to save slots, it might be worth it. Save slots. We probably want to show when a save slot was last saved to. Note that it can contain both a story and challenge mode. So we would probably want a last modified that is the more recent of the two. Waiting for GTA 6? No, what's the best thing that happened to you in the last year? It couldn't have been waiting for something because that didn't happen. Can achievements be poisoned, like an extra achievement that's impossible, but doesn't count toward 100%, but still shows up somewhere? Achievement abusers would look, and if someone has that achievement, you know they cheated. That's kind of interesting. I never thought about that, but I think that's a bad idea because I think Steam just has the concept of like you've 100%ed a game. So you would even need the poison achievement in order to get to 100%. And the only way to get that is cheating. So yes, other people would know that you cheated, but then the people who care about being completionists wouldn't be able to complete it. It's also a hard question. I think it's potentially tough. I think for a lot of people, there's like a big life event that it was pretty obvious for them. Like maybe they got married or maybe they like bought a house or something, or I don't know. I guess it wasn't a year ago, but we got Abby about 1.5 years ago. 1.75. This little creature. Like fixing a potentially broken save, reverting some decisions. Yeah. Yeah, I also definitely think it's good for when your game is still in development. It's like, why not just let people access this stuff? There is actually one potential problem, which is that people cheat and then break something and then think it was just due to the game. She's got your eyes. Why, thank you. Okay, so where do we leave off with this? When it comes to saving all challenge mode specific stuff, we can add it to town save data and not consult it if we're not in challenge mode. Yeah. Make sure selected. Okay, this should be done toward the end. Hey, Hotel Soap. I hate cheaters. Even in single player games? I was going to say, if you're playing like Terraria and you just want to have all the items in the game, I don't really see a problem with that. But if you're playing, I don't know, Tetris 99 or like an FPS and you've got aim hacks, I see a problem with that. Because then you're hurting other people's experience. Basically a lucky cat. Why not using VS? It was Sunset on Mac. Visual Studio Mac Sunset. It was like August of last year, I think, right? Where's the... Today we're announcing the retirement of Visual Studio for Mac. So until August 2024. Yeah. So it's been more than a year that you haven't been able to use an up-to-date Visual Studio on Mac. Aim hack in Tetris 99. Take out your pistol, shoot the block into the shape that you need it to be. When people compare achievements, it sort of crosses the line. It does, but like I said, how big of a deal is that? And also, who are you comparing achievements with? If it's just your friends, then presumably you just talk to them about have you cheated or not. If it's the general public, then do you care about it in anything more than an aggregate sense of, oh, hey, I beat the hardest boss in the game. How many people got this? 9.2%. And it's like, well, actually, that's with cheaters. So actually, it was more like, 8.7%. It probably won't matter. That's my general takeaway. The other thing is, okay, let's say we say this is like mission critical. This is the biggest problem we could possibly try to solve. What would we even do? And the only surefire thing would be to have servers running your game and then taking your input and then save data on the servers. That's the only thing we could definitely do. Like, short of that, you will find a way to cheat. You'll just be able to modify values directly in memory if you want. We could try to work around it, and then people would just come up with their own cheats anyway. It's just not worth it, I think. Code in a value for what seems like the max possible rate of gold gain, then ban achievements for any client that somehow obtains more. Yeah, one of the risks you run there is people might find ways to legitimately get to that possible gold gain rate. Like, maybe they find a build I wasn't aware of, or I don't know. And you might argue, okay, well, they don't have to exploit a bug for that, I suppose. So yeah, in my mind, it's just not worth doing anything for any of this. And if that means that some people out there aren't going to get like a special border around an achievement on Steam, then yeah, that's the drawback. I just don't think it's a big deal, and it's not worth the amount of development time it would take. I'd rather the game just be fun for more people. Hey again, Matt. Okay, so we need to save all of the trackers. And now we're getting into territory that might be afternoon territory. Is it allowed to add unobtainable achievements on Steam? I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. Take care, Fermius. Thanks again for dropping by. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Okay, so the thing I'm talking about saving is this stuff. We need to save if you had ongoing perk choices. We need to save how many of these you've chosen. You need to save ongoing or like any deferred choices, how many things you've gotten. There's an adventurer battle perk tracker thing we need to do too. Okay, as mentioned, I think this is going to be a little bit difficult. So if we were to save this, how would we save this? Perk choice tracker itself keeps track of which choices you have. Oh, man. All right, let's try to just get this working for one of these trackers, if I can. Make sure the town menu is in the appropriate state after you load from a save file. If you have deferred choices, the button should be green and shouldn't show a cost. If you don't have deferred choices, the button should show a cost and only be green if you have that much money. Have you tried Copilot? May help you improve productivity? Yeah, I do use Copilot. I've been using it now for about a year, I think. I'm not sure how long it's been. Yeah, probably about a year, maybe a year and a half. I can't remember. Okay, so what do we have here? Perk choices, num perks chosen, num perks bought, has available, a cash value indicating whether there are any available perks to choose from. And has deferred choices. Okay, where do we do this? Update has available. Okay, we need to probably call this. Probably need to call update has available perks. Facebook casino building game. You set money really high. Yeah. I have found that if I care about a game, cheating at it will make me stop caring very quickly. I still remember playing Diablo 2 and having some like drop mods on. So you kill an enemy and rather than dropping, a hand axe, they drop like 14 different items and they're uniques and rares and set items and stuff. And you kill a few enemies and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then you kill 10 or 20 enemies and you just start ignoring most of the loot on the ground in a game that's loot driven. So it was like, okay, well now the game's not very fun anymore. And that's my own personal take, right? Like if I want to stop playing a game, I find cheating at it is actually a pretty good way to be like, all right, I've explored the game now, tried some different things out. Okay, so we've got a lot to do. Let's get to it. Perk choice trackers, save data. All right, so what are we saving here? We're saving your list of perk choices. I always need to remind myself how this stuff works. Copy path. So I want to search for a list in here. We use I read only lists for everything. Okay. And then what? Get set equals null. All right, so that's perk choices. What else do we have? Num perks chosen and num perks bought. Okay, anything else? Nope. And then what about in these reroll tokens? God. Hey, Smooth. In a builder game, it makes more sense to have a mode with infinite money as compared to a game like Diablo. Yeah, it does. I still think that you could cheat and make it bad for you. Like if your normal gold gain is, let's say, X, and you cheat and you make it 10,000 X, probably the game's not going to be fun after a certain amount of time. Have you worked for any gaming company? What motivated you to develop a game? I have worked for a gaming company before, yeah. But what's motivated me to develop games myself is a combination of passion for games and then also a desire to be creative about things and just bring experiences to people that they might not have gotten before. So you might be like, "Oh, you're making an idle game, right?" And not really. I'm trying to destroy as many of the tropes in idle games as I can, and I think Skeleseller is pretty unique. The last game I made too, Botland, I would definitely say is unique. It wasn't very good, maybe, but it was certainly unique. Like you made the scripts for bots and made them battle each other. So yeah, I want to come up with fun stuff for people and just kind of see where my creativity takes me. When he plays at home or with his friends, he always goes into creative to get diamonds and stuff. But I told him when he plays with me, he's not allowed to cheat. He wasn't happy about it at first, but after finding and building his first diamond pickaxe, he was really happy about it and told me my way of playing is much better. It's good. That could have gone either way. Is that game on Steam? Botland? No, Botland's been discontinued. Okay, so we've got to save the specific things for town perks, which is going to involve twists. So we got to say reroll tokens and the number of trade-offs presented. So do we ever do something like this? I wonder. Y looked interesting. The Y is in the command there. The link just 2 messages above yours. I played Zelda Breath of the Wild naturally until I beat it and did a few other things. Then I started using exploits. Oh yeah, I think cheats will extend your playtime a little bit, but then I think it's going to sort of poison the well for you. That window manager you're using? I'm using aerospace, but it's too slow. Oh, what window manager? Hey, 0 to be a hero. Um, window manager. I'm using something called rectangle. And I'm also using hammer spoon. Those two things. So if you see me doing this, this is rectangle. And I mostly just use it for those 3 things. Snap left, snap right, and maximize. But then if you see me switching between windows like this, that is hammer spoon. All right, so do we ever have inheritance of things here? How do we even find it? Search for a colon. Is that going to work? What? I guess it did work, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't ever do this anywhere, do we? Oh, man. All right. I think we should use composition and not inheritance for this anyway. So we would make public class town perk choice trackers save data. And this would start with a public perk choice tracker save data base data. And then would also contain reroll tokens and number of trade-offs. And then we're going to talk about composing tabs versus inheriting spaces. All right, so we are slowly getting somewhere. Very slowly getting somewhere. So now we got to make a public save data. And it's going to return a new thing that has all of this stuff in it. Perk choices. It should just be able to fill in the rest of these. Yeah, there we go. Okie dokie. And then we put this in here. And this is town perk choice tracker save data. And this is going to save for base data. It's going to do base dot save data. That's not a thing, is it? This is going to override the... Oh, man. Come on. All right, maybe we call this that. And then this can just be save data. And then we pass in the other two things. All right, so now we need a way to load these things. Hooray. Load. I think we call it load from save data every time. Yeah. Might as well keep that convention. And then save. Oh, nice. Okay. Wow. Neat. It even got this in here. Yeehaw. Cannot implicitly convert from this to this. Well, you know what we can do is that. Okay, cool. And then I guess technically this should be virtual. No, it can't be virtual because we need specified save data things here. Best resource to learn C# with standard practices. It's hard for me to say. It's always been hard to answer this question because whenever I've learned a language, it's been years in the past. And in C# in particular, it was back in 2010 that I learned it. So I can't comment on what's been the best resource in the last like 15 years. But I will say this, I think Microsoft is very good about documentation for languages that they have. So if you just search Microsoft C# getting started, you'll probably find, yeah, this sort of thing. And maybe we click this. This page is probably good. Learn by doing, take training, discover your path, browse all paths. Wow. Okay, they have a lot on here. Yeah, I would probably start with something like this and then figure out where their like basic getting started thing is. Because they have a whole bunch of stuff for like, oops, create plan. Sorry, I want to click that. Yeah, they have 4,000 results here. They probably have some like basic getting started guide. And if you just type getting started with C#, maybe it finds it. Write your first code using C#. Yeah, something like this is probably good. Microsoft sucks in documentation. What makes you say that? Based on what products? Because I find it to be the opposite when it comes to language learning. I think their language docs are actually really good. Same thing with TypeScript. Like if you type in Microsoft TypeScript and you're like, well, I guess we have to be a little bit more specific getting started. Okay, I can't find the page, but if I could find the page, I think it would be a good page. Oh, maybe it's just the official TypeScript page. I'm looking for a Microsoft thing. Yeah, if we look at docs here, TS for the new programmer. Yeah, I think I've even looked through this. I think this is really nice. There you go, Deke. Thanks for the resub. Missed this button. Best option is to start with a goal domain to learn. Yeah, and apparently the Microsoft site even has that. I'm pretty impressed. Only play Minecraft for the early game grind once I get geared up. Hey, Phil. Yeah, I'm surprised at this sentiment. I bet probably this person was like burned in the past by a specific program or something. But yeah, in general, I've only been impressed by their language documentation. Never tried the language docs. Overall, I find this style of Azure docs rather unintuitive. Hard to pinpoint what the issue is, though. If you come from AWS, I think you might be expecting a format that isn't quite there. I've only used Azure pretty briefly, but AWS had kind of a similar structure for a lot of their documentation. And if you get used to that, you're probably like, I want that. Read so many concepts and get lost in links. I think I think that's it's kind of almost like a Wikipedia problem. Like if I just type cats into Wikipedia, it's like, okay, here we're on a page for cats. Look at how many links there are in just the first paragraph. And this is not unique to the cat page, right? If I type literally anything, if I type Rome here or something like that, like what, again, practically a blue paragraph. And yeah, documentation is going to do kind of something similar. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's like if you're curious about any of these things, you can click them and find out more. Or you could ignore it all and read it like it's plain text. So I don't necessarily think that's an indication of bad documentation. And depending on the depth of the subject, you you might just have a lot of different things you can learn there. Lifebeard, thanks to resub. Hi, Adam and chat. Hi, Lifebeard. So this should probably be protected. Derived classes. Wait, no, it shouldn't, right? Because, okay, I'm not going to do anything too specific with this yet. Let's just leave this as is. And then let's call this function from here. Oh, thank you too, Digit. Happy 13 months. All right, load town perch save data. Okay, so now we got to do that. And then call into load from save data with the base data. Hey, Hef. May I ask if Twitch did end up profitable, whatever this means to you? Twitch? So here's what I would say. Profitable to me is just the definition of like revenue minus costs, let's say. I'm kind of simplifying things. So did Twitch cost me money? Like, no, the cost for Twitch is, if you think about it, like electricity and bandwidth, maybe. So from that point of view, even just streaming for 10 minutes on Twitch is probably profitable. But was it better than, let's say, a traditional job? No way. Like 100% no. And I've talked about this a lot, but like the job I had before this was Google. And going from Google to Twitch streaming, it's like, I think if you're in the top, maybe 0.3% of Twitch streamers, you could maybe have an income that's kind of similar to a big tech company. But I'm not even trying to be this, and I'm not this. Or I don't know what this number has to be, by the way. Maybe like 0.1% or something, because I'm probably in the top 1% of streamers. It's like a sad number it takes to get in the top 1%, because there are just a ton of streamers. So it's like millions of streamers. By having even like 50 viewers, you're probably in the top 1% already. So yeah, I don't know what this number has to be, but still, it's like, okay, 0.05%, something like that. I am not concerned about Twitch income. When I was working on Botland back in the day, the goal was for Botland to be successful. It wasn't monetarily successful. And now it's the same goal as Skeleseller. It's like the goal is for this to be a successful game and for whatever Twitch income to just be some spending money. You have a job now? No, I don't. This is essentially my job. Twitch chat is also wasting your time a lot. I guess you could consider that a cost. But there's a lot of benefits from having Twitch chat here too, like keeping me sane. Now we get to 1%. Sweet, time for some marching orders. Yeah, I think so. I don't, there's like a Twitch, what is viewership for the top 1% of streamers? How is everyone apparently in the top 1% of streamers? Twitch statistics. What do we... How do we look at this? I don't know. I might not be able to find it quickly, but yeah, there are a lot of streamers. And maybe this Reddit post answers this. Hey, selling home data for the past 30 days. This is 3 years ago. But 0 to 5 viewers. There were 5 million streamers. So to be in the top 5%, basically, you just need more than 5 viewers. Yeah. So yeah, it's not very high numbers in terms of viewership. And it's just due to how many streamers there are out there. Yeah. Okay, so we have this saving and loading stuff. We're not actually doing anything with this yet, and we need to put this in town save data. So I'm gonna add in a town perk choice tracker save data. This doesn't have to exist. And why is this a question mark here? Oh, because you might not have this, of course. Then why do we set this? That shouldn't be there at all, right? Yeah, anything with a question mark shouldn't have this. I was probably just copy pasting stuff. That's all of these things. Hey, Catherine, welcome in. What were you doing today? Thanks for the raid. Hang on, this is where I like to just go to someone's channel so I can see what they're all about. Software and game dev. Where's the last stream? Announcing my first big game. Oh, neat. What's the game? Yeah. Oh, welcome in, Loki. We are working on a game called Skeleseller here, and I can show it off in just a second. Just make sure I've done this stuff correctly. Also, top 5% of Twitch streamer. Yeah. Yeah, howdy. Okay, I might be able to run this. So I've been working on this game for the last year and a half. And it's not a solo project. I'm working on it with other people. But this is Skeleseller. And the short intro to the game is that you were once an adventurer and you died and became a skeleton. And now you can no longer adventure. So you hire other adventurers and you send them into battle. They fight automatically for you. This is my mage fighting a bat right now. And if I had other adventurers, I could send them into battle too right now. And when they win, you earn items that you can then sell in your shops. And your little skeleton will bring the items over to the shop. Customers will come buy those items, and you can use it to upgrade your town. This has been playable for a little while. Plays during Next Fest? Cool, yeah. Yeah, there's a demo that's about 2 hours long. What I've been working on lately has been this challenge mode stuff. So this is, once you've beaten the main game, you'll unlock this mode. And you'll be able to have some meta progression in between your runs here. So it's very much a roguelite game. And then you'll start a new run and you'll be presented with all the roguelike options here of like, okay, well now which perk do you want? And you pick a specific one. But yeah, Catherine, I don't know if you heard me or if the ads are still running for you. And if not, I'll have to ask again in 20 seconds. But yeah, what's the game you're working on? I might as well just type it in chat just in case you're in an ad. Not sure if you're in an ad, but I see that you started a game today. What's it about? There's an all-consuming slime. Yes. All right, so we're going to add in the town perk save data. Here it is. And when we save the town, we're going to save this thing too. UI menu town perk choice tracker save data. Why is this highlighted like this? Cannot implicitly convert from perk choice tracker to town perk choice tracker. Oh, we got to cast it. Oh, God. Does that even work? Still can't convert? What? Oh, because it's not called this. It's called town perk save data or whatever. Yeah, my bad. There we go. Started my first mid-sized project. It's like a silly little whack-a-mole type game. Oh, cool. Also, is it running ads again? What is going on right now? I don't think it should ever do that. Maybe they hadn't started yet, and that's what I was looking at. Anyway, out of curiosity, what are your goals with the game? Is it just to learn? Is it to sell it? Is it to like start building up a game company? Okay, so now we have the tracker, and now when you load from the save data, we need to restore this. So oh, and actually we should only save this if you're in challenge mode. Save data.this is not null. Then UI menu town perk choice tracker load. All right, let's save that only in the case that you are in challenge mode. Do we have this anywhere? Pool is challenge mode. Is this already? Hang on, let me look for this. Nope. Okay, that's fine. All right, so if you're in challenge mode, we'll save this off. Otherwise, we have no use for this. And I want to check this out now. Yeah, this is one step of like 4 or 5. And if this one works, then I think getting the other ones to work should be pretty easy. So let's cross our fingers and try this out. I'm going to make a new run, and we're going to pick a town perk. I'm going to click buy. And now we have, I'm just going to take a picture. Actually, let's not try to remember these. Whoops. Let's just remember extraction is in the middle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save and then quit and then reload it. And we should see extraction in the middle still. I think it's unlikely this will have worked. And it looks like something just broke immediately. Deserialization of types without parameterless constructor, a singular parameterized constructor, or yeah. Okay, that's too bad. We're trying to deserialize something in, why is this starting up again? We're trying to deserialize something inside of the save file that doesn't have a parameterless constructor. And it's probably the only thing I just added. Who's the target audience here? So when I think of like what is Skeleseller, I think it's casual players, and I think it's like fans of the genres that it belongs to, as opposed to thinking in terms of things like gender, age, because I have now shared it with a bunch of different people and different YouTubers, and it seems like it's got pretty wide appeal. But yeah, I think they need to like the genres that it belongs to at least. And they also need to like pixel art. I had one YouTuber say, sorry, this is not my style. I don't want to play a game like that. Okay, so where is this? Perk choice tracker. What? Is this in serializing? Where's this all called from? Oh, I can't read any of this. That might help. Okay. Here we go. Ready, main ready. And that means it must be from loading. No, that's where the state machine is. Main scene, load challenge mode data. Game saver, load challenge mode. Here it is. So we call load from save data. So this is what's failing. So it must already be in the save file then. And for whatever reason, I just can't find it. That doesn't sound good. Town save data. Town perk choice tracker save data. Huh. That's bizarre. Very bizarre. We can't deserialize this, but it never even saved with this information in the first place. All right, I'm going to put a breakpoint here. Oh, that's capitalized? No, that wasn't. I was like, that's not a syntax problem. That's just a linting issue. Yeah, let's put a breakpoint here. Although now it's going to break every single time we try loading, right? Yeah, rip grep is pretty nice. It's very fast. This is going to fail forever now, won't it? Oh, woe is me. Is this going to fail too? No, that worked. All right, so we make a new run. We buy a town perk. Now selective loot is the first thing. So we just save it. Saving is challenge mode is true. So then we're going to save this. Let's just copy this. And yeah, we get save data, which should contain all the stuff that I want, right? Oh, maybe it's perk choices that's going wrong. Okay, so if I hit the play button, this should be fine, right? Yes, it is fine. And now I go load up the save file again. And we should have, yeah, there it is. These are empty. That's very bad. Yeah, that's very bad. They're just descriptions, apparently. Oh, because they're polymorphic. We need town perk choice to save this stuff because it has an ability ID. Yeah. Okay. Well, what time is it? Yeah, I should try to figure this out. I have an idea for how this is going to work, but I'm not happy about it. We need to be able to get save data from a challenge mode perk choice. We can only make one of these though with the town. So when we load, we've got to make sure we restore these correctly. All right, first let's think of the initial problem. How do we even save the right types here? We could have a get save data that returns a perk choice save data and it polymorphically fetches the right data type. What is RG? RG is rip grep. Oh, I don't have a command for that. Wow. Is rip grep, which is essentially a faster grep that respects your .gitignore file. There we go. Okay, let's go do this. Public class. I'm going to separate these in their own classes at some point. But yeah, perk choice save data. And then public class town perk choice save data. And this is going to have an ability ID. Okay, now we change perk choice. No, it's the UI. Oh, God, that's... Yeah. Challenge mode purchase. Okay, that's what this is called. That's what we should call the base one then. So this should be renamed like that. And then here we make a public abstract. It can't be abstract right now. It's got to be virtual. And I'll write to do make this abstract. And I guess as long as I'm adding to do's, we'll say to do split these into their own files where it makes sense. Any other little things there? No. Okay, so this is going to return pretty much nothing. Since it returns void. What? Oh, what? My bad. What's this called? Save data? Which down needs to be written like this. Get new. Cannot create new instance of the abstract type or interface challenge mode purchase. Oh, this is supposed to save data. Yeah, my bad. And that's not even a thing, is it? No, it's not a thing. Hey, Miss Tess, welcome in. All right, so now we should have this. Yes, good. Great. So now the derived class from this, town perk choice, should return this, override, and it's going to return a new town perk choice save data with the ability ID, and that should be capitalized. All right, next, this is why this is so fun. Next, we need to make it so that when we're loading from the town perk choice tracker, that all of the perks that we would have, so these perk choices can't just be loaded in like this. We need to construct the right kinds of perk choices. So for each, this is going to be town perk choice save data, perk choice save data in that. This is the base data.perk choices. Oh, please tell me this works. Cannot convert challenge mode perk choice to that. Yeah, cast it. Oh, nice. It knows what I want to do. Did I learn how op gzip is for web streaming? Web streaming what in particular? Oh, just for, oh, I see. Yeah. Compressing any HTML that you send. Yeah, HTML compresses pretty nicely because there's a lot of repetition in it. I was going to say, if you're doing video data, you probably want like a special encoder or something. Yeah, it is nice. And it's essentially trading bandwidth for CPU. And I think for small websites, it doesn't probably make a difference either way, but it's still a nice practice to learn about and to apply where it's needed. I think it's really nice for images as well. The other thing you might be interested in, if you're not already using something like this, is lossy compressors. So these two images, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference with your own eye, but a computer can, except for this one 73% smaller. So on a lot of websites that I might make, or wherever I'm distributing images, I might run it through this first. And then it's like, okay, well, looks the same. It's way smaller. Okay, so type is incompatible with type. Challenge mode per choice. Attempt to throw invalid cast. It shouldn't do that because this inherits from this. Are these the wrong types now? They are. Oh, God. All right, this should be save data. Isn't this fun? Isn't it fun? So we need to do this dot select. It's save data. That's got to be the correct one. Can I implicitly convert from an I enumerable to this? This needs to be a list now. All right, have we done it? It's going to fail to load immediately, won't it? It did not. That's surprising. Let's click new game here. And let's click this, and Swift Shoe should be first when I hit save. Let's go take a look. CM save. It saved nothing. That's surprising. Yeah, that's surprising. Property should not follow a method. Am I not overriding it correctly? Town perk choice. Override. No, it looks correct. How could this possibly not work? Huh, maybe this is never getting hit. I'll just hit save again. No, it's getting hit. That's unusual then. Huh. That is quite unusual. And where's this all coming from? Here? So if I do this, keyword this not available in current context. All right, well, whatever. Let's get perk choices here. Oh, still can't get it. That's unusual. Oh, because I'm in the wrong. Okay, I didn't realize. All right, so we get 3 of these things and they get saved with the right ability ID. All right, that looks correct to me. So I'm not sure what's going wrong here then. What's trying to save this? This thing is base data equals save data as the perk choices. This is a read-only list of save data. And the items are here and the items look correct. Yeah. What is going wrong then? Getting saved to this. Huh. I can't fathom why these are getting saved with nothing in them. Is there an error? No. I already learned about it. I was doing a 14 kilobyte return full HTML render ready in the first network success packet. Try to do it without gzip and add hydration a little more data later. Is there a goal to get it to be as small as possible? Like, is there some constraint you're working with? Because I've heard of these various, like, what's it called? Code golf, I guess, where the goal is to keep the file size as low as possible. And there are even some like shader competitions like this, or games that you make within a small number of kilobytes. I'm not saying it's not worthwhile to try to compress sizes if you're not working within those constraints, but I think there is a trade-off for how much dev time it takes you versus what the real world impact might be. All right, yeah, I cannot figure this out. Why would these be empty objects? How about we try filling them with literally anything? So let's just type ability ID dot basic attack. I just, yeah, I don't know. On the current internet, the smallest internet package is 14 kilobytes. What? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by smallest internet package, because you should be able to get a blank HTML page and it should be 0 bytes, right? So if you just type hello world, it should be whatever that would work out to be, like 10 bytes or something, 40 bytes. Okay, that's different now. Cannot cast this to type town perk choice save data. It's always some random string that makes no sense. Well, yeah, that's because the formatting and the sensibility is only for a human. And in a lot of those code golf things, it's supposed to only be for the sake of the machine. I mean, most data per one packet. I think you've lost me. You were talking about the smallest package is 14 kilobytes, and now you're talking about the most. Yeah, you can link to a block, sure. All right, I want to keep this back to what it was here. And then town perk choice data. it wouldn't know what these things are getting loaded in as, would it? But it doesn't have ability IDs here. I wonder if I could just save that somehow. Like if I say ability ID, oh, that didn't work. Ability ID :5. Does this all of a sudden change anything here? Why your website should be under 14 kilobytes in size. Yeah, I'll have to check that out later. But I suspect that's just like a clickbait article, because you could have a website that's 1 megabyte and it's not going to probably change anyone's perception. All right, so I'm just gonna load, right? And it's gonna fail immediately with the same thing. Okay, still unable to cast. Huh. Huh, indeed. Okay, let's find out. How is this failing? Perk choices. It thinks that they're of this type, which technically has nothing in it. I guess that's why this is going wrong, because it doesn't know how to serialize this polymorphically. Okay. Now I understand. So there's some polymorphic type resolver, and this doesn't know how to deal with these perk choice trackers. Got it. It's about data transfer efficiency to have something visible to the client as soon as possible. Yeah, but what we're talking about here is subhuman perception times, right? Like the average reaction time is something like 200 milliseconds. So if we're talking about the difference between like 50 nanoseconds and 75 nanoseconds, it wouldn't be something you could even perceive. That's what I was talking about with real world impact before. Like what would be the difference between having a site that loads 1 millisecond faster? And I know Amazon has done research about, hey, after a certain amount of time, you will lose money. But that amount of time is not in the nanoseconds territory. It can't be, because humans can't perceive that. It also depends on the connection of the user. But it doesn't meaningfully depend on it if we're talking about like 14 kilobytes versus 15 kilobytes. There shouldn't be any real world perceivable difference between transferring a 14 kilobyte website and a 15 kilobyte website, right? Can be up to 612 milliseconds faster. Okay. Well, that does disprove what I said, so I will admit that I'm wrong. I'm guessing then that by having, like, what kind of round trip time would have to happen? I guess you're located as physically far as you possibly can be. And I wonder if with most CDNs and like edge networks serving static HTML that it's effectively meaningless. It just strikes me as something that is probably not an important thing to focus on. "15 kilobytes has more connection packages to determine the internet package size." When you're talking about package, okay. We're talking about web and you're saying packages. I think you mean packets every time you're saying this. And yeah, I can see that being the case. I still kind of wonder, like, again, when you talk about a meaningful site, so something more than a single like text document, you're probably talking about something that's going to eventually load more, give you some functionality. Maybe it's an image viewer, maybe it's an e-commerce site, maybe it's something else. You probably can't meaningfully fit any of these things into smaller than 14 kilobytes. And your initial thing that you're fetching could be, but then you're still going to have to fetch more data afterward. Site content is more important than time to view. People have gotten used to waiting a little bit if you have to make your site bigger. Yeah, I think that Amazon research that they had done on the trade-off between having to wait and how much money it costs them, I think that actually is pretty interesting. Like for your average site, if you're making whatever, IMDb or something, it's like, yeah, you probably expect it to be an ad-ridden mess. So having it load a little bit longer when there's no real competitor to it, it's like, okay, consumers deal with it. But Yeah, I think once you get to be a mega company, it's all about optimizing everything. Okay, so for this, here's what I want to try. Because if we can just prove that this works, then I think we're decent here. So challenge mode. Oh God, we need to do this for everything, don't we? No, I didn't put inheritance for this other stuff, right? No, I didn't. So I don't need to do that. So I just need to do it for this one. So set up perk choices or something like that. I don't know. I am hoping this is dead simple. So we add this stuff in. We don't need to get the concrete classes because this should be pretty easy. Component ID, get custom attribute. Yeah, we don't need this. I think we can just do this thing then, right? We add a new type, the type being this one. And we need something, a string, I guess? It just needs type information. Yeah, type discriminator. I think it can be a string. I think we just say town here. I think it's fine. Nope, apparently that's not valid. Discriminator. You can't have string? You can have strings. Type and then a string. What am I missing here? Oh, type up, right. Okay, there we go. So I do that, and I think we fixed all of our problems. Man, JSON in C# is nuts. It's just nuts. It's crazy how easy this stuff is in JavaScript and TypeScript. Well, in JavaScript at least. I mean, that's what the JS is in JSON. It's JavaScript object notation, so it makes sense to be easy there. But yeah, kind of crazy the amount you need to know to get this to work in C#. Okay, so we got these things. We hit save. Does it save the right things now? It should. It did. And there's our type discriminator, town, which is kind of pointless because, well, let's not worry about it. Anyway, there are the ability IDs. So let's try to see if we can load this now. So what does that say? Expanded weapon shop and then glowy fish. Okay, so let's save and quit. And I'm going to reload. And it should be those same things. Expanded weapon shop and then glowy fish. Challenge mode, continue. Please work, please work, please work. No. I don't think it knows that we made a purchase. We probably need to update something else. But we're getting closer. And I really want to go get lunch pretty soon. So I'm not going to spend too long on this. But the town perk choice tracker will load this. So if I put a breakpoint there and click load. Oh, no, it broke. I see. Okay, yeah. There's some other problem. I saw like 1 million customers stream in, right? Hang on a second. I saw a ton of them. Yeah, that's not good. This indicates that there's some other problem, but there should be an error, and there isn't. It's just about not being able to find available sprites, which is because it's just streaming customers in. Oh boy, yeah, if we just leave this running for a long enough time, it'll just never stop. They'll buy everything. Where are my workers? Oh, I don't have any workers. It's a very lively town. I want this version of the game. Oh man, this is going to be very tough to work through. Customer system. How is this happening? So if the customer count is less than the maximum number of customers, which is set to game constants, that's starting maximum customers. Bonus from perks, customer bonus from challenge mode. This must be wrong. So if I click this and then I click load. Max number of customers is 2,541. Why is that? Because customer bonus from challenge mode just keeps going up. That's pretty hilarious. Where does it go up? Why did I not find this? It goes up here. If the add customer timer is greater than the interval, and the interval is never set, I'm guessing. Because we never call setup challenge mode if necessary, do we? Ah. Well. Yeah, we need a load challenge mode function that does this. We probably also need to call all of these other things that we have, which is what exactly? I think it's just this. Private void load challenge mode. Or maybe like private void started or loaded challenge mode. So we put these things in here. We put this in here. And we put that same line down here. And then let me think about this. Then I need to call this from town load. I guess there's loaded game from save. Could this thing listen to itself? It probably could. But we updated a whole bunch of other things before that. I just do this sooner, right? I don't know. Where do we load customers? What, are they not even in there? Oh, they're just entities. So we gotta do this before this. Do we know if we're in challenge mode here? Gameplay mode, set it to the title screens mode. So if gameplay mode dot is challenge mode, load challenge mode. This is only going to fix that customer problem, which I'm guessing is now working fine, but it won't fix the other issue that I was having. So what are we looking at here? Perk choices. All right, so we should not see more customers streaming in than just however many were saved, which I guess is 3. Yeah, so that's good. Great, but the town perks thing didn't work. It's just that buy perk is showing. I think this is just a very minor UI problem that we're having. But I can't think of exactly how we fix it. Town perk choice tracker is here. We call load from save data. It says update available perks. Shouldn't we also say something like, oh, I think there's a signal we need to emit. And I must not be emitting. Because we add perk choices here. Where's change choices? Chosen bot. I guess it's bot perk invoke. All right, well, it's one of these two things. So what does this do? Change handler, bought or chose a perk, and update that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that out. So we're gonna. Okay, hold on. We're gonna set the perk choices. We're gonna call load from save data in the base, and then this is gonna say if as deferred perks, then bought perk invoke. Is that good? I think so. Sorry, my English not Englishing. Oh no, that's totally fine. Yeah, and let me unwind my own stack for a bit here. So as a streamer, I feel like there are kind of two things going on. One is the productivity aspect of this, and the other is the interactivity aspect. So like I'm working on my game right now. When it comes to interacting with chat, I try to fill in context based on what I see. And this involves a lot of making assumptions because otherwise I wouldn't be able to quickly respond to people. So like I make a bunch of assumptions here, right? And as evidenced by me saying that I was wrong about the 612 milliseconds thing, it's like, yeah, sometimes those assumptions are off. and I think it harms interactivity to some extent, but my goal is to make a game, so I'd rather harm the interactivity part than the productivity part. Whoops. Which is why I didn't click your blog post already. I know. Okay, yeah. Just making sure, because I think sometimes this comes off as like me being rude, and I don't intend to be rude here. And I recognize that intent doesn't necessarily factor into whether you are rude about something. And at some point, like I said, I'm okay with like I'm okay with the chat experience taking second place to productivity, but it shouldn't make people feel bad. It should just be like, well, that's how this stream kind of has to go. Oh my God, I think we did it. Okay. Okay. We've proven that it is possible to restore at least one set of perks. I cry at least once a week based on Adam being rude to me. How many points do you have again? Let's find out. 3 points. Okay, never mind. I thought that was higher. All right, save deferred choices. How many things you've already gotten when loading? We probably need to call this. So this part's done. This part's done. Get this to work for all trackers. Modify the polymorphic data. Maybe use an enumeration rather than a string to discriminate. Time to deduct some. I'm gonna cry early. That'll be minus 6 points, putting you at a comfortable -3. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna rewind. For those who don't know about how C# and JSON work with one another, first of all, let's go back to the very basics. JSON is just JavaScript object notation. It's a way of sharing some data. So you might have something like age 15 and name Billy. So here's a JSON object, right? In C#, in order to load this, you need to know the type of the thing you're loading it into, which would probably be something that looks like this, like class person, public int age, and then a public string name. So again, pretty straightforward. It's like, this is the thing this is going to deserialize into. And if you were to save a person, it would serialize into this. The issue is when you have something like class, I don't know, person with favorite ice cream. I don't know why you would do this. But so this is a person, but then we also save a favorite ice cream here. And now if you just try saving a person, it isn't going to magically know that it should save it as a person with ice cream. You need to tell it how to do that. And that's what this JSON type resolver thing does. It's a polymorphic type resolver. And for any given base class type, so for example, we have abilities, we have components, and now we have these challenge mode perk choices, we need to tell it how it should resolve those types. So in this case, we give it some basic options, and then we say, just so you know, when you get a town perk choice, it is of this type, town. So now we go look at our save file, and what we see inside of it is, we see this type town here. And the thing that a town perk choice has is an ability ID with it, which that doesn't matter, that's for the sake of the game. When we eventually have battle perk choices, we're gonna have something different in there. I don't even remember what those have. They have an adventurer class and then a list of sub perks. So this is all going to get very, very annoying to do. Do you ever fear that you have too many systems both in and outside the game? No, I do not. I think that from the game perspective, it's like each system should contribute in a meaningful way to the overall player experience. So I've spent like such a crazy number of hours doing game design on the game now that I'm pretty convinced that every system is working. And the only thing we still need to test to make sure of is the treasure system in the story mode. But then I assume the other part of the systems you mean is maybe coded systems that we have. Like the game design can be accommodated by a less sprawling set of systems here. And there, I don't tend to worry too much because I look at this in terms of, again, kind of like real world trade-offs here. Let's say you want to refactor your code. There is a time cost to this, and you could look at it in terms of some number of like software engineer hours. So it's basically person hours. And maybe the cost to refactor your code is like 4 hours. And then you think, what's the benefit? Well, it'll let us iterate faster. It'll make it more readable and whatever other things it might do. Is it worth these things in a lot of cases? Probably not. But could it be done? Yes. And I was mentioning earlier today this thing about good code versus perfect code. I think good code takes like X time to make. And I think perfect code takes like 2 to 3X time to make. So sometimes that trade-off is going to be worth it. Just remove the feature to save the game. Problem solved. Do I get a point now? Yes. Actually, that's why we didn't save battles. When you reload a game, it doesn't restore any of your battles because they're just kind of throwaway things. And it would have just been so much effort to do it. It's just not worth it. So is composition easier when it comes to deserializing to JSON? Yes, it would be, because you shouldn't need to do anything special for that. Now, with that said, by the way, this is not that difficult to do. You just need to know that you have to do it. So once this is done, it's like, oh yeah, just add in your 4 types that we have here. We're going to need town perk. We're going to need battle perk. We'll call this battle. And we need 2 other ones, right? Which I would just copy paste and type out. So that's not that hard to do. It's just that it won't know how to do this by default. At least not in the case that I'm in. There's probably some way that you can get it to work by default. So yeah, battle perk choices have the adventure class, which should be dead simple. And then this, which is going to be annoying because this is yet another inheritance hierarchy. Battle perks will need polymorphic serialization for, well, I'll just say we'll need their own. And then what else do we have? Adventurer perk choice. What is this? Just a class? Okay, that's easy. And then what's the last one? Building perk choice. That's just a building. That's easy. Okay, yeah. So buildings, adventurers. All right, should be easy next to these. And then battle perks. Modify JSON type resolver. I'll just copy the path to the file. Yeah, let's get that. Modify polymorphic data in this, and then I hate how it does this. It turns it into a link. Okay, so that's our 4 trackers. And then we need to save twists as well. And any perks that would have shown up. Yeah. Saw on Twitter that someone got killed. I don't know who that is. I just quickly searched them. But I don't think that's the kind of thing we should talk about here. I am sorry to hear that. This is not really the stream for that kind of news. Okay, so we've got this. If you don't have deferred choices, it should be, oh yeah, I need to test that part out too. Okay, so if I make a new game and then I don't have town perk choices, so I just save immediately, and then I quit and load. What is going on? Why is this style cursor? Oh, no, what am I? And I click continue. It should just say 10 gold over here. Yes. Now, there is something that I don't really care about, I guess, but that some people might, which is what's it called? Save scumming? Is that what it is? Where you, let's say you're just about to buy a town perk and you want a specific one. So you save the game, then you click buy perk, you get 3 choices. And if you don't like these, then you click load game and you repeat until you get what you want. This is technically possible, and I don't think I'm going to do anything about this because this is just another way of cheating, and you can already cheat by just modifying your save file. How do you make those code snippets in your Google Docs? There's a section for, where is it? Hang on, let me take this off screen for a second. Okay, yeah. So over here, if you click tools and then preferences, there's a checkbox for enable markdown. Once you have markdown enabled, you can just put backticks around something. So I can just type test with backticks around it, or I could type it with underscores to make it italic, or with probably asterisks to make it bold. No, 2 asterisks. Yeah. And probably some other things, but at least those work. And I think you can make lists that same way too. So if you just type like dash high, yeah. So you can just type a hyphen and then you have a bulleted list now. So if you like that, it's kind of nice. I actually only like it for technical documents. And that's mostly what I write, so I think it's fine. And then also there's another way you could do something like this. So let's say, have you been to like this place? So in Markdown, this is bold. If I paste this into Google Docs, it's going to paste it with the original formatting. So if I press Shift Paste, it's going to paste it with the original text. But if I do paste as Markdown, or wait, sorry, paste from Markdown, that's what it's called, then it'll paste it with the bold text there. So you can actually have Google Docs interpret something as Markdown, and similarly, you can have Google Docs copy as Markdown. So now when I paste this somewhere else, it gets the backticks there instead of just like knowing that it was green text. So Google Docs added this, I think 2 or 3 years ago maybe, and I think it's pretty helpful. I prefer in games guard against it by doing a save right after the action. That way I'm not tempted. Yeah, it's the temptation that I think makes it, that's the only thing that would make me potentially want to change this. Because I gotta say, in Slay the Spire, I've been playing this lately, and I have an animation speed mod on so that everything goes faster. And as a result, I'm thinking less between all my moves because I'm like, I've already played the game a bunch now. And every once in a while, I make a mistake, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna restart this, and I save scum. So I wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to do that if the game was just like, nope, we saved you exactly where you are in battle. Saves come a lot in BG3. Yeah. It's kind of funny, right? Because some games are going to encourage it more than other games. Like if you have a game, I don't know what game would even be like this, but if you have a game that lasts for like 1 minute, you probably don't even need save files, let alone feel the need to save scum. But if you have a game like BG3 that lasts for, what, 100 hours? Then you might care a lot more because you don't want to be like, well, I'm going to go repeat 45 hours of content to get back to this choice and make a different choice. Does that work in Balatro? I don't know. I only played Balatro for about half an hour, so I'm not positive. I think it all depends on how hard it is to save the state and then how much of the developer valued actually saving it. Like in Slay the Spire, it doesn't feel like it'd be an impossible task to accomplish. You'd save which enemies there are, what their life values are, what status effects they have, and then what cards you had in your hand and whatever random seed you were at the time. But yeah, they decided it wasn't worth it. Abby. She just meows as she walks by the office. Okay, I'm going to go get lunch. I will say today has gone pretty well. I'd love to get done with this today, and we have a limit on how much time I can spend. I will try to take a pretty quick lunch, but then we probably need to be done by like 4 p.m. Yeah, I've been talking about Slay the Spire a lot. Okay, so what do we do here? Worked on the save system, revamped the title screen a bit, and then yeah, just continued covering all of the crazy scenarios and data to save. They're not crazy scenarios. Yeah. So I'll show really fast what we did. We now have a story mode and a challenge mode button. And if you don't have challenge mode unlocked, then where is this? Yeah, so here. If you don't have challenge mode unlocked, you will just see these two buttons, play game and quick game. So as soon as you do unlock challenge mode, then play game changes to story mode. And now when you click this, you'll be told you have a saved game. Do you want to start a new one or do you want to continue? Most people are probably going to want to continue. If you do click new and you're like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I'm looking at a blank town now. You can just go back to the title screen. It'll know that you have your old save file. Same thing with challenge mode. It detects that you have a saved game. It does not save and load everything correctly yet. But if you click new game, it'll bring you to this screen and you can pick all your meta perks again. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. If you release it on Steam, how hard would it be to find the save file? Not hard at all. They would be probably at just these locations. Look at my clock and see 3:28. Well, my 4 p.m. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I'm going to go finally get lunch. If you'd like to play Skeleseller, there's a link to the demo. It's about 2 hours long. If you'd like to join either of the Discord servers, either the Adam Learns Focus one or the Skeleseller Focus one, there are those links. I'll be back in hopefully like 30 to 45 minutes. I got to think of what I'm even eating for lunch. And then probably be back for about like 2 to 3 hours, however long it takes to finish the save file, or 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.